we all doing? Welcome back to Premier League Dad. We are live for Aston Villa against Newcastle United. Look, we had an amazing night last night, didn't we? Liverpool against Bournemouth. What an unbelievable game that was. But we've immediately got straight back to it today. Saturday, big day of Premier League football on. I am live back-to-back for 3. As of right now, we are doing Villa Newcastle. At 3 o'clock, we're going to do Sunderland West Ham. And then at 5:30, we're going to do Wolves against Manchester City. So football is back. Absolutely, John. You called it, mate. Football is back. Looking forward to it. And it's going to be an unbelievable game. This one, I think. Newcastle. Eddie Howe's just given his interview here at Villa Park to Peter Crouch and Joe Cole and whatever. I really feel for Eddie Howe. Because it's not Eddie Howe's fault what's gone on, I don't think, anyway. It's obviously it's an issue with the Newcastle higher-ups and Alexander Isak. It's nothing to do with Eddie Howe. And the grievance that Isak has isn't with Eddie Howe or his teammates or those Newcastle fans. It seems to be with the guys higher up, doesn't it? So I do have a degree of sympathy for Eddie Howe. Ostermorg, we can hear them crying and cheering. Federico, he came to win. Love it. Yes. Right. So yes, I'm looking forward to this one. I am looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. Not long till Sunderland, says Jack. How are the lads, says Jack. Yeah, listen, it's going to be a good game for Sunderland, I think, as well at 3 o'clock. Thank you for liking and sharing. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. Give us a like and a share if you're new. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a follow. Give us a sub. If you want to get involved in the chat. Thank you for the gift. Appreciate it, Clayton. If you do want to get involved in the chat on YouTube, head over there now. Premier League Dad. We're live on YouTube. Wim, hello. The Club Bruges fan is back. Good to see you, Wim. Bruges away at Zulte Waregem, aren't they, this weekend? Right, we'll go through the lineups, because the lineups are in for this one, by the way. So we've got in goal for Aston Villa, it's Marco Bizzo, the new goalkeeper who they've brought in. Now, that is a big change that they've decided not to put. Well, obviously, Martinez is suspended. Is he the backup goalkeeper then? I thought Martinez would have been. Oh no, he got readied against United, didn't he? Oh yeah, stupid, silly me. I don't know why I thought that Martinez had been left out, but there you go. Marco Bizzo in goal for Villa, no Martinez. Cash right back, Konza, Mings and Luca Dean at the back. Midfield, it's Kamara, Onana, Tielemans, and then it's McGinn, kind of just off the left, Rodgers off the right, and Ollie Watkins up front. So, again, you're looking at that Villa side. It's basically the same Villa side that they had last year, isn't it? It's basically the same Villa side. There's not really anything changed there with Villa. For Newcastle, it's Nick Pope in goal, Livramento left, Trippier right, Byrne and Shah in the middle, Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno, that same midfield three that has been so imperious, so good for Newcastle for so many years now. And then a front three of Barnes, Anthony Elanga, the new signing on the right, and then Anthony Gordon, centre forward. Anthony Gordon, centre forward. Could it be? LFC fan, am I right in saying the Manchester City game is on Now TV? I have no idea, mate. Not a clue. Callum, good win last night. Let's see what happens with Newcastle today as we have them in 9 days. Yep, week on Monday. Monday Night Football. I'll be live for that one. Liverpool against Newcastle at St James's Park. J-Star Trading, is Isak playing? No, Isak is not in the squad, not at all. He has been left out. It was, to be honest, it was mentioned by Eddie Howe last week, I think, but he said it again in the press conference. There was absolutely no way that he was going to be part of the squad. Dale, morning mate, good to see you. Clayton, how's it going? John, how you doing? Good to see us. Callum, the crowd was the best I've seen it in years. It was immense, wasn't it? Absolutely immense. I still can't. Chiesa's finish was really good. I thought Chiesa's finish, he handled it so well. Yeah, really, really good play. Okay, let's get the chat up on the screen. Sorry, I'm not ignoring the old YouTube chat. I'll just get it up on... Ben, I'm not over last night. I know, I keep watching them back. My reaction to it was just... I lost my head. Papa John, you know it's ready to kick off when the Premier League dad goes live. Cheers, Papa John's. Good to have you, mate. No Alexander Isak for Newcastle. That's another one just popped up. Yeah, no Alexander Isak for Newcastle, of course. There we go. Get your knackers in, lads. Well, we can't talk. I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that on here because it will get the account flagged, right? But I can give my predictions. Predictions is absolutely fine to say, but nothing like that. Nothing that insinuates, you know. But yeah, predictions. We can talk our predictions for the weekend. So I have predicted. Let me give you my predictions for the weekend. Let me just go to my Prediction 365 site. Isaac, nervous for today's game. Who do you support, Isaac? Are you a mag? Yeah, so I have gone for Bayern Munich to lift the trophy against Stuttgart today in the German Super Cup final. I've gone for Cardiff. Cardiff against Rotherham today. I've gone for Venezia against Mantova in the Coppa Italia. Cagliari against Virtus Entella in the Coppa Italia. Torino at home to Modena. Borussia Dortmund away at St. Pauli. That is next week, mind. What else have I got for today, actually? Today. Oh, Nuremberg. Nuremberg away at Illertissen in the DFB Pokal. Schalke away at Lok Leipzig. Holstein Kiel at home to Hamburg. Augsburg away at Hallische. Mainz away at Dresden. Fortuna Düsseldorf away at Schweinfurt. Stuttgart away at Eintracht Braunschweig. Who else have we got? Oh, Bristol City at home to Charlton. You've got to back Bristol City after what they did to Sheffield United last week. Bristol City definitely one to back. Barca away at Mallorca. PSG away at Nantes tomorrow. Porto away at Gil Vicente in the Liga Portugal on Monday. Tottenham against Burnley. I think you've got to back Spurs at the minute. Midtjylland away at Velje in the Danish Superliga. That's another one to get on as well. Fenerbahce away at Göztepe. Again, all these aways. If you fancy a little away prediction, then I would definitely be looking at those. Midtjylland, Fenerbahce. Definitely take a look at those. Real Madrid play, I think, is it tomorrow or Monday? No, Tuesday, isn't it? They play Osasuna. Tuesday. They'll beat Osasuna. Who else have we missed? There's definitely some that I've left off. I've backed City, of course, against Wolves tonight. Atletico Madrid away at Espanyol. Betis away at Elche. Get on that. Young, do you watch the Mexican League? I don't watch the Mexican League an awful lot, no. I'm fairly familiar with it, like I keep up on it, but... Talking Chelsea Blues, are you watching the Villa v Newcastle game? I am, mate. Yes, I've got it on right now. Ajax away at Go Ahead Eagles is worth a look. PSV away at Twente, obviously worth a look. Sturm Graz against SV Raid as well. Young says, I think Chelsea are taking the Premier. No, Chelsea nowhere near the Premier League. Chelsea's defence is a problem, mate. The goalkeeper, Robert... You don't win the Premier League with Robert Sanchez. Don't win the Premier League with Robert Sanchez. Absolutely not. Talking Chelsea Blues. Awesome, man. Would be awesome to do some content with you sometime if you fancy. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, it'd be great. Love it. Let's do it. If you're up for it. Let's have a chinwag. I'm sure me writing you off for the Premier League title will be a good start to that. But yeah, absolutely, mate. Let's do it. It's Toby. Predictions for NUFC Villa. I have gone for... I've got to back Villa. I've got to back Villa. Even though Villa's team doesn't fill me with confidence. Unai Emery, I think, just always pulls something out the bag at Villa Park. They're a really tough side to beat. Newcastle feel like... It could go one of two ways with Newcastle. It could be... They could be in complete disarray because of the Isaac situation. Or they could go, David Brent. Very much fusion. Could be a bit of that. So we don't know. We really don't know how it's going to be. Until we see, I guess. Talking Chelsea Blues, I'll drop you a message and we can sort something. Yes, mate, absolutely do it, please. And yeah, let's hook up on that one. Big Kahuna, how good was it seeing Liverpool start the season with a win? Absolutely brilliant. It was immense. I loved it. If you go and see my YouTube video watching the live last night, you'll see the reaction when Chiesa scored. I lost my head. That might be the biggest head loss I've done when it actually went in. Young B, you're right, but Liverpool's defence seems to struggle and City needs a new goalie if Ederson does leave. They've just got Trafford. City's defence is fine. Liverpool's defence is fine, despite last night. But Chelsea, the thing is, it doesn't really matter what Liverpool and City's defence looks like. There's absolutely no way that Chelsea win a Premier League title with Robert Sanchez in goal and Toshin Adrabayo, Chalobah, Badiashile. They just don't win. That's not the defence that wins the title. There's no way that happens. Lisha, Liverpool were lucky to win yesterday. No, we weren't, mate. Look at the stats. Every stat you want to look at, we absolutely smashed them. We were all over him. Young B, those 2 goals were the defence's fault. How were they the defence's fault? They weren't the defence's fault. No way they were the defence's fault. The first one you could maybe say was Andy Robertson and Konate stepping a bit too aggressive. That was a little bit foolish. I don't think it was defence's fault. It was the midfield. We were overexposed. If anything, we tried to... We was 2-0 up and we tried to kill the game. It was stupid. It was the midfield. I personally think it's Liverpool's midfield that's the problem. It's not actually our defence. We've just left ourselves far too exposed. And that might be because we've just signed a load of new players. So it'll take some time. Amazing scene, says HSH last night. Beautiful tribute and clear players are strong to overcome mentality. Talking Chelsea Blues, I actually thought Liverpool looked a little out of sorts. That could be down to a number of things. Trent leaving, Robertson not starting, and you need new players to bed in. This is it. It is that, but it's also the midfield 3. Liverpool, our midfield looks so different without Ryan Gravenberch in. If we don't have Ryan Gravenberch in, the midfield, for me, it lacks energy, it lacks legs, and I would say any midfield that has McAllister, Szoboszlai and Wirtz, if that's our midfield 3, we are vulnerable. We are a little bit vulnerable. Or at least, maybe we're not vulnerable, maybe it's just that it's new and it'll take time to adapt. We miss Ryan Gravenberch so much yesterday because of his suspension. So once we get Gravenberch in there, I'm not really all that worried. He's back next week for the Villa game, for the Newcastle game. So I'm not worried. I'm not overly worried. Young B, Van Dijk ran back instead of pressing in off the goals, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, but Van Dijk had to run back. He had to run back because if he'd have pressed, he would have left a load of space in behind him. It's the right thing to do. It's what Van Dijk's always done, and that's fine. The problem is, mate, it wasn't that Van Dijk didn't press. It was that he had 4 players running at him, and it was him, Konate and Robertson, and for the most part, Konate was 10 yards further back than he should have been, and Robertson didn't read Semenyo over his right shoulder. So Van Dijk wasn't the problem last night. It was Robertson and Konate. Robertson and Konate were out of position in the first goal. In the second goal, Szoboszlai gives the ball away stupidly. Salah gives the ball away stupidly. Szoboszlai, again, far too aggressive on the press. Should be sat back a little bit. I just feel like we lacked a little bit of leadership last night because there's the game management at different points in the game. We were 2-0 up. There was no need for Konate and Robertson to be in The Bournemouth half trying to press. You're 2-0 up, lads. Sit back. Take 10 yards back. 10 yards further back. You'd have been absolutely fine. You don't need to be pressing that high. It's mental. Big Kahuna. Trent already getting booed in Madrid. Listen, Trent will be fine. Trent will be fine. Trent's a good player. He's a very, very good player. Ben can't take away from Konate's performance. Woefully bad. Listen, yeah, it wasn't great, Konate's performance, but I'm not looking at it and being overly concerned. For me, he's still the best centre-back outside of Virgil van Dijk. Young, do you think Liverpool will win the Prem easy this season again? No, I don't think we'll win it easy, but I do think we'll win it. Joe Crowley. Hello, sir. I am watching from the Republic of Ireland. Good to see you, Joe. How's it going, mate? Whereabouts in the Republic of Ireland? Beautiful country. God's country, you might say. Callum the Red, knowing that we won yesterday and we can just chill and watch this weekend's games, I've gone for 2-0 Villa. Sunderland 1, West Ham 1. These are Callum's predictions, by the way. Spurs 3, Burnley 0, Brighton 0, Fulham 0, Wolves 1, City 5 he's gone for. Chelsea 0, Palace 2. Blimey. Man United 3, Arsenal 1, and Leeds 0, Everton 1. Interesting. Callum, Robbo was back. No, he wasn't. Watch it back on the first goal. The first goal was Andy Robertson's fault. I mean, it was Konate's fault as well, but the first goal was definitely Andy Robertson's fault. LFC fan, do you think football is scripted in any way? I don't, mate, no. Ostermorg, I didn't like Arna's sub yesterday, Bar Chiesa. He had to take Kirkes off. Kirkes was on a yellow card and he was getting done every time yesterday. He didn't play well yesterday, Milos Kirkes. Bombis, 1999. Do you think Chicago Fire will beat St. Louis? I don't know. I don't follow the MLS that closely to know which one would be the best pick in that one, to be honest. I tend to stay away from it. I have looked at the MLS in the past, obviously with Suarez and Messi going to into Miami. But it just feels like the league's so unpredictable. So unpredictable. The real donut, bro. Young B, do you see Liverpool competing for the Champions League? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Bombis, greetings from Chicago. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Lovely to have you on. Yeah, really good. Good to have. I've never been to Chicago. I'd love to go. The Windy City. The Real Donut DJ17. How to watch on telly, mate. It's on telly right here. Young B. I want them to play a final versus Madrid again. I think Liverpool will do all right in the Champions League. Hopefully we go far, but yeah, I don't know. Ostermorg, probably because he subbed 3 of my FPL players off. Yeah, I was going to say, Ekatike, I think, did really well. I found out yesterday, Ekatike was the second Liverpool player, apparently, to score and assist on his Premier League debut. I don't know who the first was. I imagine, was it Salah against Watford, maybe? The only Liverpool player to score and assist on their debut. Oh no, Darwin Núñez against Fulham in August 2022. There you go. Hugo Ekatike and Darwin Núñez are the only Liverpool players to score and assist on their debuts. Bloody hell. Well, hopefully he kicks on a little bit better than Darwin did. Bombay, sadly we didn't get a World Cup game, but Columbus and Kansas did. Don't worry about it. I think you might get a World Cup. You know what? Club World Cup. The World Cup next year. Maybe you'll get one in that. You never know. Dylan, how's it going? User not found. Have you heard the Eze news, Key? I've heard that the Eze is pushing for a move to Spurs, but nothing else. I've not heard anything other than that. Jake, I like the look of Ekatike. Great at scouting players in Newcastle. Yeah, just not so good at closing them. Just not so good at actually acquiring them. Bombay, like, as Chicago isn't hosting a game. Chicago aren't hosting a game at all for next year's World Cup. Is that what you're saying? Or are we talking about the Club World Cup that's just gone? Just that many people use the term World Cup and Club World Cup interchangeably. Ah, right, okay. Oh, that's a shame then. There's nothing next year. Oh, what a shame. Oh. Well. Hey ho. Maybe in another... When was the last time you got the World Cup? 1994. Maybe another 25 years, mate. Next time. G. Lawrence, I joined the live and first thing Key is talking about is Spurs. Bloody hell, mate. No hiding it anymore. I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm really not. It's just bad timing. Clarky, Key, what's your prediction for Man United v Arsenal? My prediction for Man United v Arsenal is United to win 2-1. And it's not at all anything to do with United being better than Arsenal at all. I just think United at home... I don't know. United at home on the opening day, they might just... I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Brandon Murray, how are we? Doing good, mate. How are you? Good to see you on the channel, mate. We've got live footy on now. Live footy on for Villa and Newcastle. 3 o'clock we're going to do Sunderland against West Ham. And then 5:30 Wolves against Manchester City. Be yourself, Dylan. Newcastle will need to build castles everywhere. Bombas, I wasn't even born yet. In 94. To be honest, 1994 World Cup was a good one. Yeah, it was a very, very good one. G. Lawrence, he's picked United to win because of his inner Spurs roots. Alicia Key, mate, you're not mad to think that. I've literally got 3 United players on FPL and I'm Burmo as my captain. Brandon Murray, who do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan, mate, so I'm still buzzing after last night. I'm still delighted after Liverpool's late victory over Bournemouth. We nearly threw it away. Very, very nearly threw it away. Be yourself, Dylan. I'm going to watch Wrexham v West Brom as well as Villa v Newcastle. Lovely. Gary, I don't know why we're going for Donnarumma when we bought Trafford. It's pretty unfair. I think Pep's got in his head that Trafford might need a bit of competition and he doesn't want just Ortega or whatever. Maybe he's going to try and get real competition in. So they've got 2 top quality goalkeepers. He doesn't want to just rely on Donnarumma. And he doesn't just want to rely on Trafford. Maybe he's not quite sure, but he's definitely not sure on Ederson. Matt, how bad was Kanate last night? I am worried for him. I'm not too worried about him. Listen, it wasn't a terrible game. It was just, yeah, he made some mistakes in some moments, but I'm not overly concerned. He's still probably the best centre-back outside of Virgil van Dijk as far as I'm concerned. G. Lawrence, I'm a Liverpool fan, mate, he said through gritted teeth. Jake, I want you to stupidly overpay for Isak since the Milan game pre-season. Obvious you need another centre-back. We don't need another centre-back. Got Giovanni Leone in, mate. He's Maldini. He's basically Maldini. Ben, don't know what game you watched, Key. It was a terrible game. He was diabolical from start to finish. Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise. Dramatic Ben comes in with an either 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 performance for some player. I've never known any nuance or balance from Ben Twiss. Never any balance. It's either absolutely sensational, world class, or it's absolutely disgusting, appalling, despicable. It's never anything in between. That's what you get from Ben. You'll learn if you're on this channel. That is what you get from Ben. No balance, no nuance. This way or that way. Matt, Virgil, get protection from Alisson a lot. Do you know what though? Right, listen lads, it's a team game, right? It's a team game. Virgil, Kanate, do indeed, yes, get protection from Alisson behind them. That's what it's meant to be, by the way. But that's also a strategy thing. Arne Slot wants the players to be pressing high. He wants them aggressive because he knows that they've got the best goalie in the world behind him. What he doesn't want, or what he doesn't expect, is that the midfield lads, the three in front of Virgil and Canate, just leave him absolutely no protection. No protection. Look last night at where Szoboszlai, McAllister and Wirtz were on the first goal and the second goal. Have a look where they were. And then tell me that you blame Virgil and Canate. You're talking out your arse, lads, with the greatest of respect. The issue for Liverpool wasn't the defence last night. It was the fucking midfield. The midfield was all over the place. You could pick the bones out of Canate and Robertson on the first goal. You could say maybe they were a bit too high, a bit too aggressive. The positional, it wasn't fantastic. And that's true. That is true. But look at where look at where the other lads were. You don't want your midfield on the edge of Bournemouth's box. That's ridiculous. You're 2-0 up. The issue was the midfield. We are absolutely... The midfield was the problem. We didn't have Gravenberch in there. Young B, is Dembele winning the Ballon d'Or? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Dembele should be nowhere near it. Gary, we've just let two academy boys go. McAtee's already confirmed, and Rico is in the works. Rico Lewis to Nottingham Forest seems like a really odd deal. That's a real shame. Sasha Tovollieri has just confirmed something for Crystal Palace. I don't know what it is, but let's go and have a look. What is it that he's confirmed? Oh, Bilal El Khanous. Now, here we go. If El Khanous is going from Leicester to Crystal Palace, that is basically Eze to Spurs, isn't it? That is Eze to Spurs. Palace do not sign El Khanous without Eberechi Eze leaving. So there you go. That might well be the trigger for Eberechi Eze's move to Spurs, is that they are getting Bilal El Khanous from Leicester City. Brandon, what game are you watching today, mate? I'm watching 3. I'm watching Villa and Newcastle first, then we're watching Sunderland West Ham, and then we're watching Wolves against Man City tonight. So I am here, right here, till about 8 o'clock tonight. Lisha, I personally think if Rico and James McAtee both join Nottingham Forest, it'll be the best decision they can make for their careers. Very true. Gary says Rafa's for the Ballon d'Or. Listen, Rafinha, I think, is probably the next best shout after Salah. It has to be Mo Salah, though. Has to be Mo Salah. After Salah, I would say Rafinha. But you can't give it to Dembele. You can't give it to Dembele. I don't think you can give it to Rafinha, to be honest. I'd rather they give it to Lamine Yamal and just admit that they're totally biased than give it to Rafinha or Dembele. Those two have only had one good season in God knows how long. Sam, good to see you. Just turned on Radio Newcastle and we're listening to the game. Jake, Toon, Black and White Army. Joe, won't be in for long. How are you, mate? I am very good, Joe. Hopefully you are too, mate. Hopefully see you maybe on one of the later streams. Maybe if Newcastle have picked up a win. Best of luck to you. I honestly don't have a horse in the race on this one. I don't mind who wins. Probably am rooting a little bit for Newcastle, actually. Seeing as we've got some regulars in the Newcastle, we've got regular Newcastle fans in the live, so I'll be an honorary mag today. Why not? Lisha, I think it'll be like an Elanga. Look how he's going. Elanga will be great. Yeah, Elanga will be fantastic on that right side for Newcastle. Callum the Red, we need to hijack Baleba for next summer at least. Ostermorg says, where does Elliott go if Eze goes to Spurs? And Callum says Leipzig. Ostermorg thinks he can do better than Leipzig. Well, where do we think Elliott could go? I think Leipzig, a Champions League side, competing in the top 4 in the Bundesliga, would be a really good platform for Harvey Elliott. Yeah, I'm not sure he is better than Leipzig, to be honest. Normal Guy, good morning. Good to see you, Normal Guy. Gary, it's so crazy that Gigi Donnarumma is 26. I thought he was about 32. Feels like he's been playing for ages. Well, he has, hasn't he? He came through, broke through at about 18. So he's been around first team football for a very long time. Ostermark, Leipzig have come off a shocking season, though. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're a bad team, does it? One bad season doesn't mean anything. Same as one good season doesn't mean anything. Right, Sasha Tovaglieri has confirmed that Palace have bid for Bilal El Khanous of Leicester City. Newcastle linked with him as well, of course. But, I mean, look, you've got European football at Crystal Palace. That'll be good stuff for him there, going there. I think he'll be a really good signing, a good replacement for Eze. We are 27 minutes away from kickoff here. 27 minutes, so we've got the teams in for both Villa and Newcastle. I'll go through them again. We have already done them, but I'll go through them again for those who are interested. So in goal for Villa is Bezo, who has, well, basically he's the backup goalkeeper for Villa. Emiliano Martinez out, suspended after being red carded on the final day against Manchester United. Cash, Konza, Mings and Dean at the back, and then it's Kamara, Onana in midfield with Tielemans, McGinn off the left, Morgan Rogers off the right, and Ollie Watkins up front on his own. For Newcastle, it's Pope in goal, Livramento, Byrne and Shah with Trippier at right back. Then it's Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, that midfield three that we all know is Newcastle's sort of bread and butter. And the front three is Barnes on the left, Elanga on the right, and Anthony Gordon up front. Centre forward, Anthony Gordon. Bloody hell, Anthony Gordon. Will he be Newcastle's centre forward all season, I wonder? He might be the starting centre forward beyond... Yeah, I would imagine he will be, actually, beyond September the 1st. Maybe they'll have Wisser up there, but I'd still imagine Gordon starts. If it's just Gordon they get, if they don't get any, top replacement, let's say, Goncalo Ramos is who they're being linked with, but if they don't get him in, and it's just Wisser they bring in, I still imagine Anthony Gordon starts up front as the main centre forward for Newcastle. LFC Red 6 says a big win yesterday. It was, mate. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Yes, Federico Chiesa. Love it. Sebastian, Viva United. What do we think about United tomorrow? Ginge, what a cracking first game of the season last night was. As a neutral, was very, very exciting. It was. Yeah, really good. Good one for the neutral. Brandon, I think Sunderland will beat West Ham because it's a home game. I fancy West Ham to go down this season, but I do think they'll get something today. Maybe a draw. I don't know. Swifty, Gay and Eze showing Isak how to act, in my view. It's different, though. It is different. It is different. I don't think Isak has acted irresponsibly or badly. I think he's just doing all he can do, because he asked for a move last summer. Effectively, what you're seeing Eze do is what Isak did last summer. If Palace said no to Eze this summer, then next summer it might well be that he does what Isak's doing. It might well be. Jake, give over, Kee. You didn't ask for the move. That's nonsense. How is it nonsense? The same people reporting, the exact same reporters, Ornstein, well, everyone, anyone you could, even Craig Hope said it. Craig Hope said that he asked last summer. He asked to leave last summer when the contract offer was pulled. So if he asked to leave last summer and Eddie Howe came out and gave a press conference and said, listen, get your head back on, get us Champions League football, we'll assess it next summer, right? He then goes into this summer and he says, no, you can't move. Yeah, of course you'd lose your head. Of course you'd lose your head. Jake, so why was he on Austria doing kit launches? It was the week before the Celtic game. Yeah, right. So why does that prove anything? That doesn't prove anything at all. Maybe it was after that the club said, no, you can't go. Doesn't mean anything. Maybe he was said up to this song, we'll look at it, and then after all that, he went, yeah, no, you're not going. Jake, you tapped him up. What do you mean tapped him up? Come on, Jake. Tapped him up? There's no such thing. We went and said to his agent, hey, we'd like him. That's not tapping up. That's not tapping up. Letting a player know that you want that player is not tapping up. And even if it is tapping up, it's no different than what you did to Wisser. It's no different at all than what Newcastle do to every other player. Every other club does it. You've got to let a player know at some point that you're interested in him. So how's it tapping up? Talk nonsense. Joe, I've reckoned we've learnt from the last Villa game when we got stuffed 4-1. They have the similar team. Wallwork, Isak came out and said he was happy here. Yeah, but again, he didn't come out and say he was happy here. That's nonsense. That's not what happened. Did Isak call a press conference and say, listen, just want to make an announcement. I'm really actually very happy at Newcastle. No, he didn't. What was happening was he was getting asked every other week, are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy at Newcastle? Are you going to be staying? Are you going to stay? All the Newcastle fans want to know, are you happy? Are you going to stay? Any answer that he gives that isn't, yeah, of course I'm happy. Yeah, I love it here. It's great. It's fantastic. If he gives anything, even if he says something that's a little bit neutral, like, well, you know, football's short and we never know how it's going to be. Maybe we'll see how it is in the summer. That answer creates headlines, right? Imagine if in the run into the Champions League spot, or even before the cup final, imagine if Alexander Isak had said, yeah, I want to leave. Yeah, I'm not happy here. I'd like to leave this summer. Imagine what would have happened. Newcastle's, all of their heads had fallen off. Eddie Howe wouldn't have thanked him for it. All of his teammates wouldn't have thanked him for it. The fans would have hated him for it. Newcastle certainly wouldn't have finished in the top 5, and they might not have even won the cup. It would have completely derailed Newcastle's season, right? So he's done the professional thing, hasn't he? He said, yeah, of course I'm happy here. Yeah, of course. But behind closed doors, he's obviously said, well, we want to, you know, we want to have a talk, because last summer I wanted to go, and this summer, there you go. Sam, Key, what score was yesterday? I lost connection because I was on the Eurotunnel. Have you got connection now, Sam? Have you got connection now? Just want to make sure. RK, do you think he'll wear a Liverpool kit this season? Absolutely. Absolutely. He will. He'll be wearing a Liverpool kit this season. Warwork, professional thing, went on strike. He hasn't gone on strike. He's training. He hasn't gone on strike. He is training. He's doing everything he's obliged to do. Everything he's legally and contractually obliged to do. Sam, if you've got a connection, Google is a wonderful thing, my friend. Swifty, contracts are not worth the paper they are written on then. That's very true. No, that is true. I agree. Contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. And it's a two-way street. It is a two-way street. Listen, if Alexander Isak was crap last year, and Newcastle fans and Newcastle's management and whatever, they decided, we don't want him at the club, we don't want him, he's on big money, he's not delivering, right? What we're going to do is we're going to isolate him, we're going to put him in the reserves, force him to play with the reserves, make him train alone, away from the first team, we'll remove him off all first team affairs, so he's feeling isolated and left out and all that stuff, and we'll try and emotionally, you know, manipulate him out the door, we don't want him at the club. That wouldn't get headlines, would it? No one would be talking about that then, would they? No, that's not unprofessional. That's not issue. There's no issue at all if the club doesn't want the player. Oh, that's fine, no problem. Two-way street. Listen, if Alexander Isak has decided that that club no longer meets his goals, and he's given him good notice, 12 months, he said to him, listen, I don't want to be here. And Isak has been told, listen, get your head on. You're not going this summer. Get your head on. Get us Champions League football. He's done that, and now he wants to go, and now they're saying, well, they're playing silly beggars. So, let's be honest. Alexander Isak, he can't stay. He can't stay now. Newcastle can't keep him. They can't keep him. Make of that what you will, but Newcastle cannot keep Alexander Isak. They don't get the same player anymore. If you try and put Alexander Isak back in a Newcastle shirt, do you think he's performing anywhere near what he was last season? On your bike. On your bike. Geordie, mate, I don't care if he stays or not. If Liverpool want him, just pay the 150 mil and take him. Yeah, no, that's not how it works, mate. That's not how negotiations work. We know that you need to sell. Jake, Newcastle have to get another Ramos or Samu. If they don't, you're waiting a year, pal. Honestly, I think Newcastle would be better off. This is just my opinion. I think Newcastle would be better off having Anthony Gordon and Wissa up front than having Alexander Isak around the club. I think you'd be better off just going like that on your bike, mate. If you don't want to be here, go. That's the approach that big clubs generally take. They don't keep players against their will. It doesn't happen. This is why it's so interesting to me. Swifty, they've still got to pay him his full salary to the end of the deal. Yeah, and he's still got to turn up to training, which is what he's doing. Joe, you won't pay our asking price when you clearly have the facilities to do the deal. Well, yeah, of course, but your asking price doesn't mean that you get your asking price. If your asking price was 200 million, it doesn't mean we have to pay it. We know that you are going to have to sell him, absolutely. I know, well, I don't know for a fact, but I believe 1,000,000%, that Liverpool and Newcastle have already shook hands on a deal. I am certain of it. I am absolutely certain that Liverpool and Newcastle already have a price agreed, and it's already pretty much done, and it's going to be announced after the Liverpool-Newcastle game in 9-10 days' time. Maybe, well, that's when Liverpool play. It might be towards the end of the month. It might be the final day, Liverpool and Isak, it's announced. But it'll go to the end of the window. It'll give time for Newcastle to get their ducks in a row and get a replacement of such. But Isak will be a Liverpool player. Definitely. It'll just be after the Liverpool-Newcastle game. Lewis, he'll do the same when he wants to move to Madrid or Barca. And again, that's fine. If he chooses to do that, by the way. I mean, I don't think that's happening. There's no way he's putting himself in the same position to come to... He'd just go to Madrid or Barcelona now. This is the big move. This is the big move that he gets in his career. But if he does, that's fine. Liverpool, as a general rule over the last 10 years, let's say, when a player's come to Liverpool and said, we want to leave, all right, go. No problem. On your bike. Fine. Ollie, so you're not afraid if he does this to use? No, not at all. Liverpool have lost better players than Alexander Isak, and we'll lose better players again in future. There's no problem. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. We'll listen. Come and let us know. This is the rule that Jurgen Klopp had. Jurgen Klopp used to say this to players. If you don't want to be here at Liverpool Football Club, that's absolutely fine. What we would expect of you is you come and tell us early doors, let us know as quickly as you can that you don't want to be here, you want to seek a move. We'll try and make it happen. Luis Diaz did that, we've got him a move. Coutinho did that, right? And he tried to play silly beggars, but he only did it late. We still got him the move. There's loads of players. Emre Can, Wijnaldum, Sadio Mane. It doesn't matter. We've done it loads of times. If Alexander Isak does it again, fine. It's no problem. You can go. You can go, but we'll get 3 or 4 good years out of him. Darting, will Wolves get relegated? No chance. No chance. Can't see Wolves getting relegated. Not with Strand Larsen up front. I think he's the best centre-forward outside the top 6. Swifty, remember when Sterling left for City? Sterling leaving for City, we still got him the move, didn't we? We still got him the move. Clarkey, can Isak still be fined for not playing for Newcastle, even though he's a Newcastle United player? He can be fined if he refuses to play. Yes. I don't think he'll refuse to play. What I think he will do is let Eddie Howe know, and it feels like this is probably what's already happened, is he'll probably let Eddie Howe know that I'm not really in a good frame of mind to play this one, boss. And if you put me on the pitch, I can't promise you that I'm going to be at my absolute best because my mind is on other things. So I am letting you know I am doing the thing that I'll try my best, but with the best will in the world, like my head's all over the place at the minute. So I would rather not play, but if you put me in, I'll do it. And I think that's he's not out of the team today because of Isak. He's out of the team today because Eddie Howe knows he's going. That is why I firmly believe Isak doesn't pull the shirt on for Newcastle again. Jake, Isak will be back after the Leeds game with his tail between his legs. No chance, no chance. Chimey, how's it going, Chimey? Stephen, go on the Villa 4-1. 4-1 last season. Do we think that happens again? Are Newcastle in the... Oh no, I thought Newcastle were in the thingy kit. The green kit, but they're not, are they? RK, Newcastle simply have to sell Isak. Jake, Isak needs to apologise before he plays. Eddie wants him nowhere near the squad. Isak won't do that until the window shuts. I don't think he needs to apologise. I think the club needs to apologise to him. At the end of the day, honestly, I think if the shoe was on the other foot, and if you guys had experienced this with employers or whatever, I think you would feel differently. You would feel differently. If your employer makes you a promise and then they back out on it, you've got to honour it. You've got to honour it. It doesn't matter. Like if you get given assurances by your employer, then club needs to apologise. They do. The club do need to apologise. I'm not saying Eddie Howe. I'm not saying Eddie Howe or the fans or his teammates or anything like that. I am saying the club. The club absolutely have let Alexander Isak down. There's no doubt in that. There's no disputing that. Absolutely no disputing that. That is categorically true. Of course it is. Of course it is. They've made him assurances. They've not kept it. And that's why he wants to leave. Why does he want to leave? Isak never told Newcastle he wanted to leave a year ago. Jake, but everyone, all of the reputable journalists, I tell you what, the same journalists, Jake, that have said that Alexander Isak has refused to play and doesn't want to play for Newcastle again, right? They are the exact same ones who have said that 12 months ago we told him, I want to leave, and he was told no. G. Lawrence, hang on, didn't you say otherwise when it comes to Trent? Oh, here we go. The Trent Alexander-Arnold situation is completely different to the Isak situation. Completely different. Chimey, Kee, are you excited about Liverpool's new under 18 wonder kid? Hugh, I am, mate. Absolutely massive guy, him, isn't he? Yeah. Top fella. Jake, do you mean Isak's agent said this 3 weeks ago? Well, you'll believe that, inevitably. Rob, have Sweden qualified for the World Cup? But they're in a group with Kosovo and Switzerland, and there's no way Sweden don't qualify for the World Cup. Got Kulusevski, Bergvall, Isak, Gyökeres, Elanga. They don't not qualify for the World Cup from a group that has Switzerland and Kosovo in. G. Lawrence, if Isak was linked with any other club, you'd say completely different just because it's Liverpool. Well, hang on a minute. I'm a Spurs fan, aren't I? I thought I was a Spurs fan. You were saying I was a Spurs fan 2 minutes ago. No, listen, it's nothing to do with it being Liverpool. I firmly believe that respect is a two-way street. Respect is a two-way street. Let's have it right. If Newcastle decided that this player was not good enough and they didn't want him anymore and he didn't meet their criteria for a centre-forward or whatever, and they wanted to put him in the reserves and make him train with the reserves and isolate him and all that sort of stuff, no one would have an issue with it. No one would have a problem with it. It's exactly the same thing in reverse. He's decided Newcastle don't meet his goals, his criteria. He's let them know long in advance, I don't want to be here. Newcastle haven't planned accordingly. That's not his problem. That's not his problem. All right, Jake, listen. Let's say I'm wrong, right? I am willing to admit that maybe I'm wrong. There's a world where I'm wrong on that one, and maybe he didn't tell the club 12 months ago. He told them 3 months ago, though, didn't he? He told them in May. Did he tell them in May? I think over 3 months ago. So he's told them at least in May. So is that not... I mean, even that's notice enough. You've told them 3-4 months in advance that you want to leave. Why is that's mental? Of course you should. Of course you should facilitate a move for him. I'm not saying give him away. I'm not saying just bend over and take it like that. But you'd have to absolutely facilitate a move. It was before the Celtic game. That's your that's where you've heard it from whatever, or that's your phrasing. That's not what Craig Hope said. That's not what a load of other reputable journalists have said. They all said that he told Eddie Howe before the Everton game. At the end of last season. And some said he told them even further back, like 12 months ago, last summer. Which would make sense, in fairness. West Yorkshire lass, good to see you. How's it going? Jake, after you tapped him up, Isaac's agent is banned from AIK PSV links to Mafia. Oh, but he was alright for you guys to sign him. Was he his agent when you lads signed him? Thought he was, yeah. No problems for Newcastle to work with such agents. But heaven forbid he wants to move on. He's banned from all these other clubs, but Newcastle didn't have an issue working with him. So, no problem at all. Says it all, show us the money, can be your problem. Oh, Jake, we aren't going to pay 150 for him. You're not going to get 150 for him. You're not going to get 150 for him. Fat boy, look at Liverpool fans behave to Trent. He gave them enough service and wanted to go to a bigger club. The thing with Trent was more that he said he wanted to go in March just gone, right? He only said he wanted to go after Liverpool couldn't get a fee for him. If he'd have told us, like Isaac did, if he'd have told us 12 months ago, last summer, listen, after Klopp's left, I don't want to be at Liverpool anymore, I want to leave. Liverpool could have gone, all right, fine, well, we could maybe get a fee for you now then, or they could have that option, couldn't they? They could choose whether or not to keep him. And instead they didn't. All through that time, Trent was learning Spanish. He was learning Spanish while still telling Liverpool, I'd like to be captain. I'd maybe like to be captain. I'd like to... And then what? It gets to March and he tells me he wants to leave. That's why Trent Alexander-Arnold is held to a different standard. Also, the fact that he's actually a Liverpool fan and comes from the area and he's a boyhood red and all that. Alexander Isak's not a boyhood mag, is he? He couldn't give a fig about Newcastle. He's moved on. I think, what has he had? He's had something like 3-4 clubs in 6-7 years. He averages a new club every 2 years before he came to Newcastle. You should have known he's going to move on in 2 or 3 years. He's going to bin you off as soon as he gets a better deal. You knew that when you signed him. Imagine thinking a Carabao Cup's enough to keep the best centre forward in the world. Have a minute. Have a day off. Charmy, any predictions? I'm leaning towards Newcastle on this one. I think Villa. I've got to back Villa. I think Villa will pinch it. 2-1. Rubes, can I point out you're not top of your fantasy league? I don't expect to be. I'd be very surprised if I am. Jake, we rejected 120 already. I'll take it in between. I think it's going to be about 121. About 125, 130, I would imagine it gets done for. Joe, he'll bin you off as well in a few years. He might do. And he'll have won a few titles and a couple of Champions Leagues. It'll all be fine. That guy, Miles, you guys going forward are really good, but you're easy to create chances against. Well, we were, certainly, yeah, but we're always going to be a bit more open against teams that sit a bit deeper. That won't be the case against your Arsenals and your Cities, will it? We'll always try and sit back and be a bit more pragmatic in those games. So it's different. It's a different game. Different kettle of fish. West Yorkshire lass, Trent came through the academy and then left for free. Okay, we got some cash in, but still. It's not really even the leaving for free. It's more the double speak that Liverpool fans didn't like with Trent. It was the perception and the telling Arne Slot that he only wanted to leave in March. That was the issue. I think if he'd have told them much sooner, he'd have been fine. Because him leaving was never a problem. Never a problem at all. We've had many, many big players leave the club. We don't necessarily like it at the time, but they've always been welcomed back. Fernando Torres, Luis Suarez, they didn't leave in such fantastic circumstances, but they got a big, applause and a welcome when they come back to Anfield. It's not quite the same with Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's a little bit more of a snide behaviour, I think, with that. Rube says, I'm bottom of the league with no points. Serves you right for not picking any Bournemouth or Liverpool players then, doesn't it? Jake, how Isaac has behaved is frowned upon. The whole footballing world saying the same thing. Key, nothing like Trent. It isn't. No, it isn't. It isn't nothing like Trent. It isn't anything like Trent. That guy, Miles, I feel like even against Bull, take it to us and play high, do you not think? We won't play high, not against Arsenal. No, we don't. Against Arsenal and against City, we won't play high. I very much doubt it, no. Swifty's a big overconfidence with Liverpool fans at the moment. I wouldn't say I'm overconfident. I just think, like I said at the end of the season, I didn't think we'd win it. Excuse me. So I don't think we'll walk the league at all, but I do think we'll win it. Joe, see you later, mate. Take it easy. Luke Etherington, will Man City beat Wolves tonight? Yes. Yeah, I think they will. Right. We are approaching kickoff here at Villa Park. What score do we think? Get your predictions in. Let me know. The one and only, I think Wolves beat Man City. Wolves to beat Man City. That's a good shout. We'll be live for that one tonight. Chimey, Chelsea v Palace. I really hope Neto starts. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Surely it'd be Palmer. Although maybe not. Yeah, they've got Esteval. They've got Gittins. They've got to put Palmer there on the right-hand side. If he honestly, the worst thing Maresca could do is he tries to put Palmer as a 10. If he puts Palmer as a 10, he's going to falter. That's going to be the worst thing they could do. That guy, Miles, I'm still saying Gyökeres scores 20. Keep the receipts. Swifty, who is Bezo in goal for Villa? He's the backup goalkeeper. Martinez out, suspended after being sent off last season in the final game of the season against Man United. Rubes says 3-1 Newcastle. And what's the Newcastle team? The Newcastle team is Pope in goal, Livramento, Burn, Shah and Trippier. It's Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes in midfield. And then it's Barnes, Elanga, Gordon up front. For Aston Villa, it's Bezo in goal, Cash, Konza, Mings, Dean, Kamara, Onana and Tielemans in midfield. And then it's Rodgers right, McGinn off the left and Ollie Watkins up front. That guy, Miles, what's your wild take for the season? My wild take. Probably Spurs finishing in the top 6. Top 5, top 6. Will Isak still be at Liverpool before deadline day? Maybe not before deadline day, but I think after deadline day he will. September the 1st, Liverpool will be... Isak will be holding a Liverpool shirt, yes. In September, absolutely he will. Joe Crowley, Villa to win 2-0. Rube says Villa are getting beat today. Well, listen, there's a mixed bag in the chat. A lot of people think it might well be otherwise. Jim says 1-1 final. Okay, let's keep those in mind. Nobody quite sure what this one's going to be today. Nobody knows whether it's going to be Villa or... Oh, Newcastle in green. I've put Newcastle in black. I need to change the scoreboard. Right. I'm going to put Newcastle in the minty green number. Oh, I don't like that. That's a bit too minty. There you go. That's a bit better. Villa and Newcastle. Newcastle in their mint green number. No, it's not like that. It's a bit more like that, isn't it? Maybe. Is that right? Yeah, let's do that. Right, we're off. We're off and underway. Let's get the scoreboard going. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, you'll have the scoreboard and the clock and everything going on. So you'll see those goal animations as they go in. If you want to go to YouTube, check it out. Premier League Dad. Join the comments in the chat there. Paul Campbell, welcome all. Looking forward to a great season. Fancy Coventry to win at Derby. Yes, Coventry against Derby is a good shout. I'll keep you updated on all the other games and goals as they go in. Twisted Fate, Villa probably do lose. Newcastle are very physical. Well, McGinn started quite physical there already. Craig Pawson giving a foul. Charmy says 4-1 Newcastle win. It was 4-1 to Villa last season, so maybe it's a bit of a revenge upcoming. Callum, fair play for that. Villa and Newcastle fans, yeah, applauding the Diogo Jota and Andre Silva and doing the minute silence. That's a really, really nice touch from them. Rubes, if Dan Burn scores, I'm marrying him, even though he's married and I know his mother-in-law. Marry his mother-in-law. Did I say my wild take? What did I say my wild take for the season was? I think my wild take for the season is Sunderland to stay up. I fancy Sunderland to stay up. What's my go-to takeaway, says Miles? Indian curry, yeah. Swifty, Ekatike won't want to play on the left or a second fiddle. Why? He played off the left last night. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. I would absolutely have Ekatike in on the left and Isak centre forward. Yeah, Ekatike can play left. He can play off the left. He can play centre forward. Luke Etherington, what was your reaction to Palace's Europa League appeal? Lost. Disappointing, but might actually end up being a really good thing for Palace. Might just about be a positive thing. And I know you might look at it and think, oh, what are you talking about? But seriously, well, Newcastle are in. Chance must be. Oh, what a save from Bezo. Big save early in the game here. Oh, claim for a penalty. No, they're not getting that one. Newcastle have started the strongest. Here's Gordon. Over the bar. It's going to be a corner. Wow. It's a claim for a penalty already. Tonali and Guimaraes rolling over. But Elanga clean through. And I tell you what, I think he should score there. It's a good save from Bezo in the end. But Elanga clean through. Let's just watch this penalty back. Barnes. Oh, does he kick through him? Does he kick through him? I wonder. No, I don't think you're getting a penalty for that. I don't think you're getting a penalty for that. But Elanga with a big miss in the opening few minutes. Corners given, no penalty. Check over. Yeah, very disappointing for Palace in terms of the appeal loss, but I honestly think they'll maybe challenge for that Europa Conference League now. They might actually end up being in Europe next season, so good luck to them. Swifty, drop Gakpo. I don't necessarily think drop Gakpo, but yeah, Ekatike and Gakpo competing on the left. Sometimes Ekatike and Isak competing through the middle, so there'll be plenty of opportunity for those three. And then we'll have, Salah, Chiesa on the right. I still think one more comes in, to be honest. Especially with Salah going to the AFCON. Reese, I'm intrigued on how Newcastle's front three work now. Well, it'll be kind of like a dynamic front three, won't it? A little bit like PSG's. PSG don't really play with a traditional centre forward per se. You know, they've got Kvaratskhelia, they've got Dembele, they've got. Why's my mind gone blank? Who am I forgetting? Doué. Bloody hell. Player that I really want Liverpool to sign as well. Doué, Kvaratskhelia and Barcola, they all kind of interchange. They're not necessarily playing as a centre forward per se. So it might well be that Eddie Howe's trying something similar. Gordon starts central but moves off the left and maybe Barnes drifts inward. Or maybe they see Elanga going through the middle a little bit more, as we've just seen there. Elanga getting clean through, playing a touch more central. Could be a number of ways that it works, but I would imagine it's that they're a lot more dynamic. Anthony Gordon's off the right there. Barnes had come in, so yeah, it already looks like there's a little bit of an agile positioning system. Reese, has Emery been dropped? No, he's been suspended, mate. He was sent off, wasn't he, last day of the season against Manchester United? So yeah, Emery Martinez suspended. Twisted Fate being grassed on by Marinakis is a mad thing. Paul Campbell, I fancy Villa today, and I'm a Newcastle fan. Ostermorg, West Ham to go down is a wild take. Yeah, that's actually not bad. I would say that maybe qualifies as a wild take, doesn't it? I said West Ham to go down. That could be a wild take, yeah. Callum, Newcastle fans see you don't need Isak to play football. Give him to us. Oh no, Tolga cursing my bet. Chimey, what does that actually mean? Can you translate that for me? What is he actually saying there? 1-0, 1-2, MS2, VE, or 2 CS Newcastle. What's he on about? What does that actually mean? I'd love to know. Twisted Fate, that's how we will play tomorrow versus Arsenal. If Sesko doesn't start, it'll be Mbeumo, Cunha and Mount interchanging. Possibly, yeah, possibly. I'd be surprised if Sesko doesn't start. You can't pay that much money and then him not start against Arsenal. Theodoris Zafiris, Canizares, Valencia jersey. No, that's not Canizares. That's not a goalkeeper jersey. That one is it is the Valencia jersey from when Canizares was in goal. Yes, but it's Mendieta and Baraja and Aymar and that era of Valencia. Mister the centre forward up front. Wonderful Valencia side. Under Rafa Benitez, of course, as well. Later Liverpool manager. Everton manager, famously. Chelsea manager. Newcastle manager. Very, very lively start here at Villa Park already. Callum, I think he thinks 2-2 draw. See, how do we know that, Callum? Look at what he's saying. Tolga. 1-0, 1-2, MS2, VE, 0-2, CS, Newcastle. That's gobbledygook. He might as well be Mr. Blobby. Reece, George Best, Ronaldo or Messi? Messi, yeah. Shout George Best. George Best. Behave yourself. Kenny Dalglish was better than Best. Swifty, Championship manager days at Valencia. Oh yeah, CMO 102. I can't wait for Footy Manager to come out. I'm debating whether or not I just don't want to turn this channel into like a Footy Manager FIFA watch along, play along channel. I don't want it to be that, but I'm definitely going to play a fair bit of both. So I might end up doing that. I might just record them while I'm doing them, and then it's a bit of free content, isn't it? Reece, Andre Arshavin was better than George Best. Chimey, double chance in favour of Newcastle. He's also predicting for half-time, full-time. 1-0 means 1-0, 0-0. Right, so half-time 1, full-time 2. Half-time 1, full-time 0. Mate, Tolga, I love you, mate. I love you to bits. But your English ain't Englishing. But double chance in favour of Newcastle, probably not a bad shout. But I wouldn't necessarily say that's theatre. If it does indeed prove out to be half-time 1-0, I still hark back to the Birmingham game. The Birmingham game was certain, wasn't it? It was absolutely certain, that Birmingham game. 3-star Reds, here we go. Arno Calimundo is a red. He's joined Nottingham Forest. Is Douglas Luiz next? Aiden, how's it going? Hello, Aiden. Reece, I'll never forget the 4 goals he scored against Liverpool. Ilanga down the right-hand side here. It might be a corner. No, Dean keeps it out. Good play. Very, very good play. Scouting for regens on CMO 102. Cherno Samba. Remember Cherno Samba from Millwall? Getting Freddie Adoing from Dundee. Dundee. It wasn't Dundee. Who was it he played for? Who was it he played for, Freddie Adu? Black team in the MLS. Black team, white and red. Who was it he played for? Freddie Adu. Don't know why I've said Dundee. DC United, wasn't it? DC United. Dundee. You're talking about Kee. DC United. DC United. Reece, Kee, if you do anything, do not look at videos of Thogden. He's unbearable. I couldn't pick out Thogden in a lineup, to be honest. And that's not anything. It's not me trying to throw shade on the guy. I don't know him. I don't watch him. Good luck to him. If he's got a great audience or whatever, fantastic. But no, I to be honest, there's not too many like in my category, I guess, that I do follow. So I take it as more a sign I don't really know anyone in this space, rather than any shade on the guy. Reece, I've just seen a video of him losing his head over Liverpool winning. He's a Bolton fan. The thing is, I was watching. Oh wait, Villa are in here. Claim for a free kick or a pen. You're not getting that. Yeah, I was watching a video last night of Mark Goldbridge, and he was talking about how he nearly sold 40% of the United stand for 30 grand. Which is peanuts, right? Absolute peanuts for what that's worth now. So, 30 grand. That was 7 years ago, I think he said he nearly sold it for 30 grand. 40% of the channel. And, yeah, millions now. So, he was talking about how he has, in the past, made content that he doesn't believe, but he said it because he knows that it gets clicks and it gets views and it's, you know, millions and views or whatever. He kind of acknowledged that he has done that in the past. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I always thought that maybe we were seeing a little bit of, maybe over-egging the pudding a bit, but not saying things he deliberately didn't believe, but was acting just to get clicks and views. I don't like that. Don't like that. MUFC, hey Key, Newcastle looking good. Yeah, they've done okay so far. They started quite well, 12 minutes in. Twisted Fate, get Marinakis out the Prem. I hope Forest get relegated. That's harsh. I can't see Forest going down. Forest will be fine. Claim for an offside here. Newcastle stood up to the far post. Chance, Ilanga. Ooh, cleared away. Reese, I do like Mark Goldbridge now, though. Now he's less biased towards United. I know, but I feel like that's what he's done. He's spent these kind of like formative years. I guess the times when he was just starting out, like I am now, just starting out. He's done the. I'll say things that I know aren't true, but I'll say them because they get clicks and views, right? He's done that approach because it's got him the clicks and views, and now he can be authentic, can't he? Because he's got the views. He knows if he starts a live stream, he's got tens and thousands of people watching him. He's not bothered. So he doesn't have to do it anymore. He can be authentic. You have to earn the right to be authentic, I guess. Whereas I'm not that bothered. I don't want to be earning millions and thousands and thousands. I've no desire to. If I have to go through being inauthentic and lying for the sake, it's not really me. I can't sit here and say to you, I'm gonna say something that I don't believe in. For one, I'm not a fantastic liar anyway. I think you'd know straight away. But I can't really be arsed with it. I'd rather just say this is what I'm watching football and I'm talking about what I actually think is going to happen. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If it gets clicks and views, great. But I'm not. If it doesn't work being authentic, then it just isn't going to work. I'll just go and get a job. I'll just go and do something else. Chimey, I want Wolves out. They are not a serious club. No, I think Wolves are a good team. I like Wolves. To be honest, I don't really want any team to go down because of who they are as a club. Like, I like Burnley, but I just think they'll go down. I like Leeds, but I think they'll go down. Yeah, I think West Ham. I just can't look past West Ham. Reese, did you know his real name is Brent de Cesare? Yeah. Ex-copper from Nottingham. Brent de Cesare. Gotta do what you gotta do to get the audience and attention, bro. I know, but isn't it so... It's so forced. It's so forced. It's just not me, that. Like, I could. You probably could, couldn't you? I could put a funny wig on and do a funny dance or whatever to get a bit of attention. And it'd get views, it'd get clicks. No such thing as bad publicity. I get all that. But no... If people want authenticity, they'll gravitate to you. If you don't, then they'll go somewhere else. Ball into the box here for Newcastle. Opportunity for them. Big Dan Burns come forward. He's being marked by Matty Cash. That feels like a mismatch already there at the far post. If Dan Burns scores off this, that's why. It's gone all the way over to Guimaraes. Headed back in. Anthony Gordon, edge of the box. Oh, good save from Bezo yet again. Bezo's pulled off two very, very good saves here. Is this his Villa debut? Is it his Villa debut? I think it might well be. He's had a bloody good start, I'll tell you that. Been a very, very good start from the debutant. Yeah, he's not played for Aston Villa. until today, and fair play. What a fabulous start. Chimey, Wolves always playing for 15th place. Rube says you're a fake Liverpool fan who supports Everton. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Everton. Swifty, I'd love to see Forest go down. Sadly, they finished top half in my view. I think they'll be okay, yeah. And don't sell your soul, Key. I'll try. I don't think it's worth much anyway, but I'll try. You'll know if I've sold my soul. You'll know because you'll come on one day and I'll be talking, I don't know, what's something that I definitely never would say. And I'll say it now. So that if you ever clock me saying it in future, you'll know that they've got to me. Ben, especially if they get Douglas Luiz, Forest ending the window well, I think. They've got to start, they've got to start bringing bodies in. You could see that Nuno Santo was frustrated in his interview yesterday, his press conference. They haven't quite got as many over the line as they were hoping. It's the same sort of thing at Everton, though, isn't it? It's just that Forest are starting from a much better, much stronger position than Everton. Everton haven't been able to bring anyone in. Grealish on loan, I still think that's a bad signing. Grealish coming in. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's not a bad one, but again, it's not really good value for money. Nearly 30 million quid for a 27-year-old who hasn't kicked a ball for England. I feel like Everton could have spent that money on a 21, 22-year-old that then in years to come gets them more money, doesn't it? You know, it's someone they can sell on. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's never going to go up in value now. Never going to go up in value. And Jack Grealish, they paid, what, 10 million pound for him in wages for a full season? Oh, for a player who doesn't get any goals and assists when he's got Haaland in front of him, what the hell's he going to do with Beto in front of him? It's just a bad signing. He's 30. That's a red flag. I would never have expected David Moyes to go and get Jack Grealish. So maybe that's that's another hot take, I guess, is that I think Jack Grealish flops at Everton and he goes back to Manchester City at the end of the season, probably needing another move, and maybe Everton still go and get him. That wouldn't surprise me if he has a pretty disappointing season but still ends up back at Everton next season, because they did that with Jack Harrison, didn't they? Swifty, Moyes does like solid British professionals. That's true, and Jack Grealish is by all accounts a very, very nice human being. And yeah, you know, I don't think there's any issue with him in terms of professionalism. He obviously understands the game, and tactically he's quite a astute player. I just think he's not really got the pace anymore. Newcastle down the right-hand side. Claim for a handball. Ref says no immediately. Craig Pawson, absolutely no chance. Bruno Guimaraes picks it up. Into Joe Linton. Out to Harvey Barnes. Chimey. 3-star Reds. Do you support Man United? Twisted Fate. Marinakis may have his critics, but his passion for the club is what Man United have been needing for years. Glazers and Sir Jim Ratcliffe have not got the club at heart. Brandon, I think Moyes will be sacked this season. Now that is an interesting one, Brandon. I don't think he'll be sacked, but I have said something similar in the last few weeks that I think Moyes probably doesn't finish the season as Everton manager. I think Moyes is in a position where he's a little bit frustrated at the little work that Everton have done in the transfer market. They haven't been able to get any of the players over the line. None of them. Second again, ole ole. You think Arsenal are going to finish second? Swifty says they've got to give Ineos time. Is it 2 years now? Is it 2 years? Brandon, how are you watching the Sunderland game? It's on, not Paramount Plus. I forget the channel. The US channel, CBS. Is it CBS? It's on CBS, I think. I can't remember which channel it is. I'll find out at full time in this one. Twisted Fate, 3-star Red. Do you actually think I'm being serious? I have no issue with Forest other than Wolfie. Wolfie. Harvey Barnes down the left-hand side is causing a little bit of an issue there for Villa. Matty Cash hasn't really been able to track him. I tell you what, Anthony Gordon, give him his due. He's pressing incredibly aggressively. They can't really get out, Villa. So, you know, as much as Alexander Isak will be missed, I think they'll gain something from Anthony Gordon, because he's gone out on the pitch and you can see that he's immediately gone, listen, I am willing to run my socks off for this club, and if you're concerned in any way, shape or form about Alexander Isak not being around, then I can prove that I can be the centre forward that you need. Swifty was February 2024 in EOS. That's about 18 months. I thought it was that. About 2 years. Not bad. Bezo again coming out with a really, really good claim. He's been a very, very big plus for Aston Villa, given that Martinez has not been able to play today through suspension. I think that's been a really big plus for him, getting Bezo in. Simon, I was so happy to see Chiesa get his first Premier League goal last night. Yeah, it was massive for him, wasn't it? And a winner as well. Such an important goal. Unai Emery on the touchline there with Paco Ayestaran. Ex-Liverpool assistant manager Paco Ayestaran alongside him. Jaime João Pedro should have signed for Newcastle. I think Liam Delap is the one they should have got. Liam Delap for Newcastle would have been a very, very good replacement for Isak. And the mad thing is that Delap has chosen to go and sit on Chelsea's bench, while Trafford has chosen to go and sit on City's bench, and both of those could have started week in, week out for Newcastle. Simon, who do you think will win tomorrow, Arsenal or United? I fancy United. Yeah, I really do. It's like, from a Liverpool point of view, I really do think that it's one of those games, isn't it, where you don't really mind who wins, or you don't really mind what the result is, because if Manchester United win, then great, Arsenal have dropped points. If Arsenal win, then fantastic, United have been snotted at home on their opening day. And if it's a draw, then brilliant, both teams have dropped points. Elliot, what team do you support? These guys right up here. Liverpool fan. Swifty, Delap would have been United's first choice 9. I think Delap would have been most first choice 9. Delap's would have been certainly Newcastle's. I think he'd have started there. He'd have started at United. I think United would have preferred him over Sesko, if I'm really honest. Simon, who do you think will flop this season? I've just been talking, I think Grealish, yeah, I've just been talking about Grealish. I think will be one that might surprise a few, because quite a few seem to be backing him as a great signing for Everton, but I think he'll do pretty poorly. Who do I think will flop? I don't know. I think Sesko will flop. I think Sesko and Gyökeres will both do okay. They won't do terribly. They won't do brilliantly. They'll just do okay. They'll probably get just about double figures each. But no more. Like neither of them are going to be tearing the Championship apart. The Premiership. They might be tearing the Championship apart. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing amazingly wonderful stuff. I just don't think they're going to flop. They're somewhere in between. Luca Dean, long throw in from Villa. Cleared away by Dan Burn. Villa, honestly, 25 minutes in, Villa haven't really created a chance. They've not been able to get on the ball. It's definitely been Newcastle's half. Newcastle's start, I think, in this game. Simon, Endo, I think, was good when he came on. You can always rely on Endo. You can set your watch by Endo, can't you? Just a wonderful, wonderful player. Darting Ollie, will Wolves win today? No. No, I think City will. I've backed City to win. At the very least, or at the very most, I would say Wolves could get a point. but I can't see him beating City. But I could be wrong. Listen, opening day, you never know what can happen. This is why, first couple of weeks of the Premier League season, you can't predict a thing because there's loads of new players coming into the squad. Some players have left. Sometimes you've got new managers. It's a completely different dynamic. Here's Anthony Gordon on his own. Just about gets it away, Villa. Eddie Allen. Good afternoon, Eddie. How's things? Simon, when is Gravenberch back from his red card? Next week. Yeah, he plays against Newcastle next week at St James's Park. Twisted Fate, hear me out. Nobody can say Sesko will flop because he's never scored more than 15 league goals. Nobody expects him to be great, which isn't really a flop. That's true. Sesko is a signing for maybe 2 to 3 years, isn't he? He's not a signing for right now. But Manchester United are going to need a little bit of an immediate improvement from him. They're going to need him to start picking up some... I mean, how many goals did Højlund get? Højlund didn't do too badly in his first season at Man United. Yeah, he got 10. In fact, no, sorry, he got 16. He got 16 goals in his first season, Højlund. So you would expect Sesko to score probably 20, given he's older and played in, a bit more regularly by that point. You would expect 20 goals plus from Sesko this season. All competitions, I'm talking. Well, halfway through the first half here, it really is all Newcastle. All Newcastle. Eddie, I need Man City and Spurs to win. What's your thoughts? What's my thoughts? My thoughts are... Sorry. I have to empty that glass into another one because last time I drank out of that glass, for some reason, it popped up on TikTok saying that I was consuming beverages. This one's fine to consume from, apparently. You can drink out of that, but you can't drink out of the one that's from a public house. Simon, do you think Núñez will do good in the Saudi League? Saudi will be fine. Yeah, Saudi League will be absolutely fine for Núñez. He'll rip it up there. But I don't think he's there for that long. Even if he doesn't, Núñez will probably just go to Saudi, get a load of money for 12 months, and he'll be in Turkey in 12 months' time. Simon, do you think are Liverpool winning the league? Yes, I think Liverpool are winning the league. I don't think we absolutely walk it or anything, but I think we win it. Ryan, what's your prediction for Sunderland West Ham? Seems like an early 6-pointer. Very, very much so. I would agree with that. I think Sunderland can nick a point or maybe even a win. I have predicted West Ham to go down. Rocco, are you watching the Newcastle match? I am, mate. Yes, got it on here. Villa and Newcastle. Newcastle certainly the better of the two teams at the moment. Twisted Fate, all comps, fair enough. I was going to say 20 just in the league is a great amount. Yeah, no, he's not going to get that. Chimey, the Prem is all comps for us this season. I think you'll be surprised, I was talking to my dad about it the other day, about, United drawing. You've got Grimsby away in the League Cup, haven't you? And he said, yeah, but he'll just put the kids out in that. I said, I don't think he will, Ruben Amorim will be saying to those Man United players, listen, we've got 3 competitions this season, and next season, you're hoping, well, we're not hoping, next season we better be in 4, right? So next season, if you're Ruben Amorim this year, you're saying, I expect us to treat the Carabao Cup as our Champions League. That is our Champions League. I want us to win the Carabao Cup, win the FA Cup, and compete in the top 4 for the Premier League. That's what I am expecting from Ruben Amorim. That's what he would be telling those players. So I expect United to go far in both of those, actually. Because he'll treat it massively as an exercise of trying to, not only trying to win silverware, but trying to sort of start the Saturday midweek planning. Watkins must be, hit it, pull back, corner, just... Oh, no, it's gone out for a throw-in. Watkins just looked a little bit isolated there. Simon Mack, Wirtz was a bit quiet last night. What do you think? I mean, to be honest, mate, it's his first game in the Premier League. Like, it's not going to be an immediate bang straight in. He's absolutely wonderful. Not all players do that. And to be honest, Wirtz is playing in a slightly different position for Liverpool. So I think it might take some time for Wirtz to adapt. He's not superhuman, but he is an absolutely wonderful player. Very, very gifted player. So we will see the best of Wirtz, but I think it might be next season. Craig, I've got the big one on today. Morton versus Aberdeen. Come on, the Dons. Eddie Allen, I think Bournemouth were good in patches against Liverpool. They were, yes, Eddie. Yeah, they were terrific. I don't think they were quite good enough to be competing and sort of... I don't think they should have had any more than the defeat. I don't think they were a good value for a point or anything like that. But they certainly scared Liverpool. Simon, do you have an FPL team? I do, Simon. Yes, if you want to join our FPL League, our Premier League Dad FPL League, you can go to YouTube and there's a link in the comments on the live. You can go and join the FPL League. We're doing prizes throughout the season, giving away retro shirts and things like that. If you want to win one, then or if you just want to play for fun, that's fine too. Go and join on the Premier League Dad YouTube channel. Ollie, United. Tolga's saying Newcastle are going to win. But so far, 35 minutes in, still 0-0. Ollie, United v Arsenal prediction. I think United take it on the day. Yeah, I think United bring a shock. And maybe 2-1. But I don't mind either way. Like I said, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm happy with whatever result it is tomorrow. I can't lose. If United get stuffed, I am made up. If Arsenal get stuffed, I'm made up. And if you both drop points, I'm made up. So I'm cool either way. I'm just watching and enjoying tomorrow. Eddie says, come on, Man City and Spurs. Yeah, Man City, I think, will do Wolves, and I think Spurs will get the result against Burnley, definitely. Derby 1, Coventry 2 as well, by the way, for anyone who's following along in the Championship. West Brom are 1-0 up at Wrexham. And Norwich are 2-0 up at Portsmouth as well. But Coventry away at Derby, that is a... And Oldham getting beat by Swindon at Boundary Park. Bloody hell, not good. Okay, free kick for Newcastle. Opportunity for them to get the ball into the box. Tobias, can't wait for Monday for Leeds game against Everton. What score do you think for that one, Tobias? Simon, Salah doesn't look himself last night. Let's hope that doesn't affect his wonderful season. He didn't look too badly. He scored. That's all right. Spencer Semenyo torn up yesterday, to be fair, didn't he? He was very good yesterday, Semenyo. Before and after the incident, I thought he was terrific. Yeah, he was definitely Bournemouth's best player, and it's not really a surprise, is it? He is Bournemouth's best player. Lucas, what's the score? It's 0-0. Villa 0, Newcastle 0. Swifty, interesting to see how Mason does at West Brom. Well, he did all right last week. Admittedly, it was a narrow win, but they got the win. Kamara. Oh, that's good defending that by Trippier. Ryan, sounds obvious, but Newcastle's lack of a striker is showing heavily. I don't think it's necessarily the lack of a striker per se. I think they're struggling to get out of midfield. It feels like they've lost a little bit of energy in midfield. Or maybe they're just losing the battle with Onana and Kamara for legs, because they're not getting enough bodies forward in support. Like, Newcastle are the better team, no problem at all. But if you look and see when Ilanga's got the ball, or Gordon or Barnes have got the ball, look where Joe Linton and Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes are. They're invariably not in support. They're not around. They're not getting an overload at any point. And they did that quite a lot last season, didn't they? It was always Tonali bursting into the box. Now, there you go. Joe Linton, that's the first time I have seen Joe Linton get beyond the centre forward. Joe Linton was playing furthest forward then. So I wonder whether or not that's maybe all this game, all I've seen is the midfield three, Joe Linton, Tonali, Bruno, sitting quite deep. And last season, the amount of goals where Tonali arrived late in the box, or Bruno or Joe Linton, we've not seen enough of that today. It's been that front three, Elanga, Barnes, Gordon, isolated and pretty much outnumbered against the Villa back four. Twisted Fate Key, if we win tomorrow, I'm going to troll X. I'll screenshot the table and just typed title charge. Swifty, sorry, we've done that one, sorry. Reese, I reckon Ekatike gets 15 to 20 goals this season. I'd hope so. Like I say, he started well. I thought it was interesting that he is the only Liverpool player in Premier League history. Him and Darwin Núñez. There's two Liverpool players in Premier League history that have scored and assisted on their Premier League debut: Ekatike and Núñez. Tobias, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Golden Boot winner, my striker. You think Leeds are going to win on Monday? 1-0, but hopefully, but could draw 1-1. I fancy Leeds in that one. Yeah, Everton haven't been terrific in pre-season. They've not really looked themselves. Ryan, you're right. I'm not sure if they're scared of the Villa counter, but it does seem very static in midfield. It might well be a strategy from Eddie Howe to make sure that they don't get broke on, they don't get countered upon. But it does feel like they're very hesitant to get any bodies beyond Onana and Kamara in that midfield, and McGinn, obviously, because of the pace in transition. But yeah, they're just too isolated. That's been the problem for Newcastle. When they've got in good situations, they've not been able to. It's usually been Villa have actually had the extra man. So it's always likely to stay at 0-0, because when you've got that extra man at the back, you can double up, can't you? 4 or 5 minutes left here before half time. Thank you for the follow, Harley. Tobias, so glad I put Ekatike in my first in my FPL last minute. Listen, Alexander Isak's the one you want. Get him in. I'm never a fan of green kits, even though I've said that this is my favourite ever kit, by the way. I appreciate the hypocrisy inherent in what I'm saying there. But green kits on a green pitch, like, if your idea is that you're able to, your players stand out and they're in your periphery, you want your players in a bit more standout colours. You don't want them in green. Green against green doesn't work. That's why Alex Ferguson never had Man United in grey kits, and he changed the grey kits, didn't he? The famous Southampton game. Simon Max, so what's happening with the Isak and Newcastle situation then? I haven't heard anything. Isak has been left out of the squad today. He's not playing. He's not on the bench. He is still training. He is still doing everything that he needs to do. But there is a report, whether or not it's true or not, that he said he doesn't want to play for Newcastle again and has no intention of wearing the shirt. Whether that's a refusal to play or not is another matter. But he has said that he doesn't want to be at Newcastle. He wants to leave. So, and allegedly, he's told Newcastle over 12 months ago that he wants to leave. So you would have expected Newcastle maybe to have facilitated that and made it happen. Does he want Liverpool or what? Yes, he has. Apparently, Newcastle have engaged with other clubs, Saudi and other places like that have been interested in buying him. But he has made it be known that he only wants Liverpool, according to the same journalists who are reporting on this week in, week out. So that's the information we have. How accurate that is, I'm sure. There's three sides to every story. I'm sure there's bits that we aren't getting. But yeah, I do think that Isak ends up a Liverpool player before the end of the transfer window. Liverpool, we don't need Isak. Chiesa needs more game times. Completely different positions. What are you talking about? You can't put Chiesa at centre forward. Tobias, where would you fit Isak though? Surely you don't leave Ekitike out. You just spent 80 million on him. Isak plays through the middle. Ekitike plays off the left. That's where Ekitike played for most of last night. So Ekitike he can play off the left. Isak can play through the middle. So they can play together. They can play instead of each other. We are going to need a centre-forward behind Isak. We're going to need another centre-forward anyway. We've Nunez, Jota and Diaz they're not at the club this season. They were last season. So we've lost 3 players and we've only brought 1 in. So there's a discrepancy of 2 there somewhere. So two attacking players have to come in at Liverpool. Yes, absolutely. Chiesa played centre-forward yesterday when he came on. Well, he didn't really. He didn't. And he's not really a centre-forward. He's playing where he plays out of necessity. And it's quite obvious that Slot doesn't trust him. And to be honest, he doesn't trust him for good reason, because whenever he's played, he's been shite. He scored off the bench in the cup final. He scored last night, which was a really, really big moment. But evidently, Chiesa hasn't really been trusted by Arne Slot. So I think that's fair to say that he's not earned his place in the team, and I don't think we can rely on him going into the season. You've got to expect more. You've got to expect more from players. If you're trying to win a Premier League title and a Champions League and whatever, you can't just be saying, oh yeah, he deserves it because he's come off the bench and scored against Bournemouth. Like, I like Chiesa, I have no problem with him, but he's no more than a backup to Mo Salah. No more than that. Absolutely no more. You can't be saying we're not going to sign Alexander Isak, we're going to give Chiesa more game time. We'll end up 5th. End up like United. That's United clobber, that. And Chiesa only scored 3 goals for Liverpool. It's not even that, mate. It's that when he's played, we've given him opportunities. He played against like Southampton in the League Cup. He was crap. He's had loads of opportunities where he started games, hasn't looked great, been dragged off. So, I think you've got to put it in context. He's played all right, but he's not done it enough. Half time here, Villa 0, Newcastle 0. Newcastle having the best of the first half, but the big star of that game, I would say, is the goalkeeper, Bezo, the Aston Villa goalkeeper who has come in to replace Emiliano Martinez for today. Anyway, he's only Aston Villa's backup goalkeeper. Martinez has been out suspended. It's certainly been all Newcastle. Newcastle have had a couple of very, very decent chances. Bezo's made a couple of very, very big saves. But other than that, Villa haven't done anything. They haven't got forward anywhere near enough. Newcastle I think they've been a little bit reluctant. We were talking about that. They've been a little bit reluctant to push bodies forward. So, although they've got Elanga and Gordon and Barnes into some decent positions, they've usually been doubled up upon. You know, they've not had an overload at any point. They've not let Joe Linton or Guimaraes or Tonali get beyond those midfield areas and push forward and try and get an overload in the box, which is what Newcastle was so good at last season. So, for me, I think that's been the problem for Newcastle today. They've not taken enough of a gamble going forward. They've been very, very hesitant. And as a result, it's 0-0 half-time. Villa 0, Newcastle 0. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Twisted Fate, Liverpool surely have the money to bid 150 with all the sales you made. We do, but that's not what you do. That's not you don't just throw away £30 million. Like, we've bid 110, rising to 120, I think. Apparently, we've bid 100, rising to 110, haven't we? That was the bid that we made. So, yeah, it's not that we don't have the money. Of course we have the money, but you negotiate, don't you? There's plenty of time left in the transfer window, and we know that Newcastle have to sell. So, yeah, it'll happen. MCFC almost fell asleep watching this, hence why I went to Kee's live. What, to make sure you fall asleep? Cheers, man. But thank you. Appreciate you coming on. Bands, it's such a boring game. Well, let's have a chat then. Let's have a chat. That's what we do. We watch every game, right? And if it's good, we comment on the game. I get people coming in the lives quite often and say, "Oh, do you know what? I've come to this for a watch along, and you don't even commentate on the game." Well, I'm not fucking John Motson, mate. I'm watching a game, and if it's shite, and we're talking about other things, that's what we do during these lives. If you don't like it, leg it. But I do think that this will be a better game in the second half. I just think we've seen two teams who are very, very cagey, a little bit scared of taking too much of a gamble. Ollie, are you watching a match after the City game? I don't think so. At this point, no, but maybe. Could be persuaded. I'll see. Twisted Fate, Key, do you know who you really need? I have the perfect player for you. He likes Ronaldo weirdly. He's Argentine, has blonde hair. He had 9 goals and assists last season. Perfect for Liverpool. I don't think you could tempt us to take Garnacho from you. Ollie, who would you like to win this game and why? I don't really have an opinion. I don't really care who wins this game, I guess. I'm just watching from a neutral's perspective to get a gauge on where Newcastle are and where Villa are. Obviously, my channel is the Premier League. I want to watch all Premier League teams, so I like to educate myself on this stuff so we can talk about them all. It frustrates me a little bit when you see experts, pundits, or people who claim to be experts and pundits anyway, and you ask them about anyone who's other than their team. You don't have a clue. Don't know what they're talking about. Liverpool for life says Liverpool don't need Isak really. Of course we need Isak. We need 2 attackers. I'm not saying we desperately need Isak, but we need 2 attackers. And we will get 2 attackers. If Isak is one of them, then I would say I'd be made up with that. I'd be ecstatic with that. Gary Garner, if you want match commentary, go and listen to Talk Sport or 5 Live. That's true, yeah. I'm not the match commentary guy. We're doing a watch along. And I am talking football and responding to... We're talking, aren't we? It's not me talking. We're talking. It's a commentary. It's a conversation. And we're asking questions. I'm asking you questions. It's a back and forth while the game's on. And we'll respond as goals go in. It'll be good. We all talk. It's a conversation. I should really start maybe a new... Maybe it's a new niche. Maybe it's not a watch along. Maybe it's a conversation along. That's not that. Converse long. A converse long. Twisted Fate need 2 attackers. See Garnacho as an option. Garnacho isn't an option for Liverpool. Someone was mentioning Martinelli could be an option for Liverpool. I wouldn't mind that. Ollie Marley, who do you think has been the man of the match for both teams so far? Bezo for Villa, definitely. For Newcastle, I'd probably say Gordon. He's looked quite sharp up front. Yeah, Gordon's been quite good up front for Newcastle. I think certainly putting a graft, a shift in. Simon, do you think Slot gives Engamoa playing time? I think he gives a little bit of it. I don't want him starting games, really. I think he might get some time off the bench at different points in the season when it's, like the game's won and it's 3-0 maybe in the 70th minute. I wouldn't mind him giving him the last 20. Or in a League Cup game, if we draw Macclesfield in the League Cup, fine. Give him a whirl in that, no problem. But yeah, no, don't be starting him in games like Everton or City or Man United. Don't do that. He's 16 years old. You don't want to do that to him. It's ruining the experience for him. Joe, so proud of this performance, man, considering all the noise around us. Yeah, I think Anthony Gordon. Would you agree, Joe? I've just been asked who we think the man of the match would be for Newcastle and for Villa. I said for Villa, the goalkeeper, Bezo. But for Newcastle, I think Anthony Gordon's been very, very aggressive in his press. He's put a real effort in, hasn't he? He's put a real shift in. Would you say that's fair as a Newcastle fan? Who would be your man of the match for your team so far? Ollie Marley says Tino is so good, man. Yeah, Tino Livramento's been decent. I don't think Ilanga's been terrible either. I just think Ilanga should have scored that one-on-one. I feel like on his right foot, one-on-one with the keeper, you've got to expect him to score there. But yes, I agree there. Joe's just said Ilanga or Gordon would be his man of the match. So far, anyway. D28, Eze has informed Palace he wants the transfer to Tottenham. Yeah, and Palace have immediately gone out and put a bid in for Bilal El Khanous of Leicester City, which seems like that's happening now. Eze to Tottenham, El Khanous to Palace, which is not a bad replacement at all. I like that. ZQXV, we'd be 3-0 up here if we had a striker. I don't think it's about a striker. Someone else in the chat said that. I don't think the issue for Newcastle has been the striker. I do sincerely think it's your midfield. I think you look at, Anthony Gordon, Ilanga and Barnes. They're getting into some really good attacking positions. But for me, it feels like Joe Linton and Guimaraes and Tonali are so static. It feels like Kamara and Onana and McGinn and Tielemans are winning that midfield battle against those mid three for Newcastle, and they're just so scared of getting Tonali beyond or Guimaraes beyond those attackers. They don't want to do it. Feels like they're a little bit hesitant. I disagree completely, mate. I just feel like, mate, there's not been a time where Joe Linton has really got into the box. It only happened once, I think, in the... I think it was about 5 minutes before the end of the game. That was the first time I'd seen Joe Linton or Tonali or Bruno get beyond Gordon. It never really happened. It feels like they're just a little bit standoffish, a little bit hesitant to go forward. Gordon's a good false nine, says ZQX. I agree, yeah. Zylo, I'd rather Morgan Rogers at Arsenal than Eze. You're not getting Morgan Rogers. You're definitely not getting Morgan Rogers. Purebird, I have a feeling that Leeds v Everton will be the best game this weekend. I'm looking forward to that one as well. We'll be live for that one, of course. Kean Mooney, I have a feeling that Leeds v Everton will be the best game this week. Oh, you just put it there as well. Cheers, Kean. Yeah, I think you're right too as well. I think you bang on the money there. Maybe it is going to be the best game of the weekend. Joe, midfield very strong as well. Rogers getting humbled and McGinn can't stand him. Rogers getting mid... Now, I just mean in terms of getting beyond. I'm not necessarily talking about losing the midfield battle per se. Maybe that was the wrong expression. I mean, one of the ways that Newcastle have scored goals last season is Tonali, Bruno, Joe Linton getting beyond the striker, arriving late in the box, and there's been none of that. D28 Man City working behind the scenes to sign Gianluigi Donnarumma from PSG. That'll be good. If they manage to get it. Twisted Fate. I'll stop the Garnacho sales now. I need him gone. He fits the homegrown quota. So even if we get 25 million, it's a nice chunk on the books. 25 million for Garnacho, and we've just got 25 million for Ben Doak. Joe, I think it's because the wingers are getting more involved. I know, but you've still got three wingers up against three attackers up against four defenders. So there's always an overload for Villa. So then you would expect one of Tonali, Bruno or Guimaraes Tonali, Bruno or Joe Linton to get beyond him, and none of them are. It feels like Eddie Howe maybe it's a tactical thing. Maybe he's saying, listen, don't abandon your posts, because I don't want us getting caught in transition. So I need you three just holding your position a little bit, because if you do go forward and you commit, we're on the counter, we're going to get done. So I need you making sure that you're holding your position. But yeah, it's certainly not a bad start from Newcastle. Jake, good half there from the tune. Need a striker. Need a striker. Why? I don't understand why it's the strikers. I think Anthony Gordon's had a really good game. I don't think the striker situation's a problem. Jake, Joe Cole and Crouch call out Isak. Say he lacks professionalism, yet Key says Newcastle have done. Mate, right. Jake, do you think Newcastle have done anything wrong in this situation? Because everyone is saying that they haven't honoured an agreement with him, right? You don't think Newcastle have done anything wrong? Okay, fine. Right, well, we're never going to find common ground on that then, mate. We're never going to find common ground on that, because it's a two-way street. This is a guy who hasn't had any problems with Newcastle for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, there's this big falling out, and none of us know the full story. But I think for you to say that it's entirely on Isak and he's been so unprofessional and blah blah, it doesn't really, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Doesn't make a lot of sense. He was promised a new contract. He was promised investment in the squad. Neither of those things has happened. The fact that a new owner's come in doesn't really matter one jot, does it? You'd be upset if your gaffer had promised you something and then the ownership changed or whatever, and he said, "Oh no, we're not giving you that now." You'd still be upset. You'd still be annoyed. So I don't think that's a fair thing. I think Isak absolutely is justified in being upset. Jake, I heard him tell family with my own ears he's happy here after the final key. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Again, mate, him saying that he's happy and he's staying, right? He has to say those things. Do you not understand he has to say those things? He can't say anything other than those things. Imagine he'd said that he was going to leave after the final, or even before the final. Imagine he'd done that. Imagine what would have happened. Do you think Newcastle would have finished 5th? Of course they wouldn't. Of course it would have had a negative impact on the season. And then you really would have been upset and annoyed with him, and justifiably so. But the guy said nothing during the season. He's kept his mouth shut, and then he's come out at the end of the season. That's professionalism. That's doing things the right way. That's looking out for the club and the investment, the interest of the club. He could have been an arsehole and said it in January. He hasn't. Contract talks was due this summer, but you tapped him up before we did. Oh, you don't believe that, Jake. You don't believe that. I firmly believe you're trying to troll here. You're trolling. There's no way at all you actually believe that. You're an intelligent guy. There's no way you believe that. No way you believe that. Rubes, the problem was Amanda Staveley, and she nearly ruined the club. Well, the club was a lot better run under Amanda Staveley than it was under Paul Mitchell. Jake, he was in Austria, happy doing photo shoots. A photo shoot doesn't prove someone's happiness. Just means they're doing what they're employed to do. Brian, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, Brian. Twisted Fate. United are now looking towards Wharton, Ederson and the Sporting midfielder, Hjulmand. I think Ederson from Atalanta wouldn't be a bad one, but Atalanta are proving a very, very difficult club to negotiate with at the moment. Wharton, you're never going to get out. Apparently, he's got an agreement with Palace, hasn't he? Wharton has got an agreement with Palace to leave next summer. So I think if next summer Palace say you're not going now, Adam Wharton might be a little bit annoyed. What do we think? Yeah, so Adam Wharton going next summer, I think that one might be difficult to do this summer, the same as Baleba. Ederson. Sporting, you know, Amorim going back to Sporting for Hjulmand might be a better shout. ZQXV, TR, Botman and Asula need to come on. Well, apparently there's no changes. I'm just looking at a half-time here. Rubes, Paul Mitchell's a different job than Staveley. No, I didn't say they had the same job, but the club was a lot better run during the time that she was there than it was under Paul Mitchell. It's been an absolute disaster. It's been a nightmare. Right, we're about to kick off here for the second half. Jake, everything reported from Newcastle was if Toon get Champions League, he stays. Also, he was going to break the wage structure for Isak on a new deal. Yeah, but that's everything reported from Newcastle, and surely you would understand there's three sides to every story. Surely we would understand that the stuff coming from Newcastle is not absolute gospel, the same way the stuff that's coming from all the journalists isn't absolute gospel. Three sides to every story. And I think there might have been a world, actually, where maybe Isak did stay, or was going to stay this summer, if Newcastle gave him the contract that he feels he deserves. But apparently they offered him 200 grand, wasn't it? Wasn't it? He's on 120, and they offered him 200. It's not good enough. That's not good enough for a centre-forward at Newcastle. Or one of the best centre-forwards at Newcastle. That doesn't put him in the top 20 earners in the Premier League. If you're saying he's the best centre-forward in the league, you can't be paying him 200 grand a week. That doesn't show ambition. Especially not at Newcastle. Like, he might accept 200 grand a week if he's at a club that's challenging for the league and the Premier League and the title and the Champions League and the Premier League. He might accept it then. He isn't going to accept it at Newcastle. No disrespect. Chance. Oh, big chance there. Kamara with the header. Villa starting strong in this second half now. Twisted Fate. I think the Wharton deal will be even harder to talk about this summer than Baleba. Should just go for Edison or Hjulmand now. Yeah, you desperately need a centre mid, United. I actually think if United don't get a centre mid before the end of this month, you might, like I've predicted you to finish, I think 7th or 8th. I think you might end up finishing 11th or 12th if you miss out on a centre mid. And a goalkeeper as well, to be honest. It might be even worse. Charmy, United should sell Bruno ASAP. Agreed. Yeah, I'm baffled that. I actually think United and the fans wanted Bruno to go, didn't they? They were desperate for that 100 million, but Bruno didn't want it. It was Bruno that rejected the deal, not Manchester United. Manchester United, I think, were quite happy, and not only quite happy, I think they wanted to accept the 100 plus million offer from Saudi for Bruno Fernandes. They'd have been delighted with that. That would have been fantastic for him. And I think the fans were making the peace with it as well, to be honest, weren't they? They thought it was going to happen because Bruno went to Saudi and met him and then decided, actually, no, I don't want to go. Rube Stavely nearly cost Newcastle 9 points and lost Minter and Anderson to rivals. I don't think that was necessarily anything to do with Stavely, though, was it? You needed to balance the books, but that was just because you went too big. And you went too big, which actually got you Champions League. So you could argue it was a calculated risk, which paid off. Because you could say, well, we nearly got deducted 9 points. And yes, we lost Minter and Anderson. But you also, as a result of what she did, got in the Champions League and won the League Cup. Same as Forest, isn't it? Same as Forest. Calculated risk. Villa looking a lot sharper in the second half here. First few minutes, they've started knocking it around a bit better and certainly sped it up anyway. Certainly sped it up. It's well done by Dan Burn. Oh, Dan Burn might have to go down here. He's just been knocked, I think, by Watkins. Long throw into the box. Villa just about get it away. And it's all the way back with Konza, I think. Knocked it straight out of play. Shocking. Chimey, it's still fine. We can keep Bruno just for squad depth and then sell him next transfer window when we have a good replacement for him. You're going to lose a lot of money on him though, aren't you? Bruno Fernandes doesn't go for anywhere near 100 million next summer, and I don't think... He has to start every game for Man United if he's fit. You'd still have him as your best player. If you was picking Man United's best player now, you'd still probably say it's Bruno Fernandes. So I'd be amazed if Amorim doesn't, and he's your captain, I'd be amazed if Amorim doesn't pick him. It's just mad because I don't see him being in that, either of those deep lying midfield places. I can't see him there as a long-term thing. He has to be, for me, in one of those number 10 areas. But he doesn't fit what Amorim's system is, does he? He's a wonderful player, he just doesn't fit Amorim's setup. He needs to be a wide player with a little bit of pace in that, like either of those number 10s, or he needs to be a really aggressive, good tackling, deep lying midfielder in either of those number 2, good passer. He's not really that either. Twisted Fate, people want us to get Donnarumma, which I don't rate. Not the players, but the profile we need. Donnarumma isn't a new age type of goalkeeper. He's a DDG regen, great shot stopper, bad on the ball. I don't think he's bad on the ball, Donnarumma. He's okay. He's not terrible. I think the problem is he's just not great with the ball under pressure, which, you know, you would get an awful lot in the Premier League. Luis Enrique's got a certain way of playing with his goalkeeper. He wants him to be a sweeper keeper, almost, and be very, very comfortable with the ball at his feet, almost like an extra centre-half. He's good, he's just not that good. He's not terrible with the ball at his feet, in my opinion, anyway. Chimey, we can't drop Ahmad and Cunha, unfortunately. You've got Ahmad, Cunha, and Burmo. Does Ahmad play right wing-back? I am a little bit unsure on what happens with Ahmad. What is going on with Ahmad? Is he actually going to start at right wing back for United? That feels like such a waste of a really, really top, talented young player. Yeah, bizarre that, isn't it? Ball whipped in all the way through. Poor. Ryan, on keepers, what do you think about Diogo Costa? Why hasn't he had that big European move? I think in part it's because of the expense. I think Porto have demanded big money for him, and his form hasn't been brilliant. He's a standout goalkeeper because he's the Portuguese goalkeeper, right? The national side does very well for the national side, just won the Nations League. For Porto have had a rocky couple of years in the domestic season. He's still been okay, he's still been fine, and he's not an old goalkeeper by any stretch of the imagination, but because of his profile, Porto are demanding massive money. And I think there's maybe been an argument that there's been better value in the goalkeeper market. Like, you look at, again, we've mentioned his name many times, but Senna Lammens, the goalkeeper from Antwerp, who is basically a Courtois regen. You go and get him for, I think they're asking for like 20 million euros, 15 million quid, whatever it is. Like, that'd be brilliant business. And when you look at 15 million for Senna Lammens compared to, say, 60 million for Diogo Costa, it's a lot of cash. And Trafford's just gone for 30. Under the floodlights, Eze to Tottenham confirmed just now. Fabrizio and Ornstein. Yeah, Eze pushing to join Tottenham, agreed on personal terms with Spurs and wants to leave Palace. Eze expected to be left out of the squad against Chelsea. Eze wants to leave and a CPFC contract conflict looming. Palace already in talks for his replacement. So Eze is now pushing for the move. He is doing what Isak is doing effectively himself. He's still turning up for training, but he's let Palace know, listen, I'm not in the right frame of mind to play, so they're going to leave him out. Twisted Fate, I feel the worst for Mainu in this system. Yeah, see, Mainu's a good young player, but again, he's not going to fit, is he? Doesn't fit. Gary Garner, way to make me feel old talking about keepers who can play. Twisted Fate, 12 million euros, Key. Ostamorg, even Mamardashvili was a decent... Yeah, Mamardashvili was probably the best goalkeeper in La Liga last year. We paid like 40 million quid for him. I think it might have been 40 million euros. And again, I just feel like he's not good value, Diogo Costa. That's been the problem. In a market that's not... There's not a lot of top young goalkeepers about, so he's always going to be considered up there, but they just want too much money for him. And his form domestically hasn't been fantastic at times. Like, we've watched quite a lot of Liga Portugal on this channel, and we just haven't quite seen him at his best at times. This has been a crap game, I've got to say, for the 12:30 kickoff. It's been absolutely dreadful, the opening hour. I'm hoping we see goals, rather. Villa. Jamie, it's good for Mainu. The boy was being overwhelmed and now we don't have to put too much pressure on him. I know, but he's getting to an age now, and certainly with England, it's the World Cup next year. I think Kobbie Mainoo would have quite liked to go out on loan if he knows he's not going to be a starter for Manchester United. That has to be a foul, ref. How's he not giving a foul there? Oh, and he gives a foul there. Oh, Newcastle fans will be raging about that one. Craig Pawson. I don't know how he doesn't give the first foul. But then he gives the foul on Kamara. Madness. Absolute madness. Twisted Fate Chimey. It's less pressure on Mainoo, but not enough game time either. We'll lose him if we aren't careful. I think United would quite like to sell Mainoo. Thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate it. Arsenal, D28, 3-2 to Derby now. Yes. 3-2 to Derby. I'm trying to keep up with all the other goals that we've seen across the Championship and League One as well. 3-2 to Derby. Portsmouth 2-0. Wrexham 1-1 with West Brom now as well. Burton and Port Vale's 0-0. Exeter Mansfield. Mansfield still 1-up down at Exeter. Chesterfield Bristol Rovers as well. 1-0 up against Rovers, and Oldham are losing at home at Boundary Park against at Swindon. AK says this game is so dead. It's been a bad watch, hasn't it? It has been a very, very bad watch. That's why we've just been chatting about football generally, about Man United and Newcastle, Isak situation, who Man United should sign, who Liverpool need to sign, who might go down, who might stay up. So a bit of everything. And we'll preview the 3 o'clock games as well coming up. So we're talking about a bit of everything. And I'm looking forward to the 3 o'clocks. We've got Sunderland against West Ham at 3 PM that I'm going to be watching. So mega looking forward to that one. Newcastle, that's a really well worked bit of play. Oh my God, shocking that. Fabian Schär and Dan Burn completely getting in each other's way. It was a well worked move from Newcastle. But they just ended up completely, blocking each other off. It was, oh God, it was literally comedy of errors, that. Chimey, we still need squad depth at Man United, and Mainoo will have to be patient. Young players don't have that virtue, mate. I mean, not even just young players, young people. As a general rule now in society, young players, young people don't have an awful lot of patience. They want everything yesterday. So, you can't say to Kobbie Mainoo, he was playing for England a couple of years ago and everyone had this big idea of what centre midfield type of player you could be. You're going to be one of the best in the country and, You know, you score in the cup final against City and all this sort of thing. You can't big the lad up, give him this inflated ego and then say, listen, know your place. You're on the bench for Man United, even though it's a Man United that aren't in the Champions League. His agent, quite rightly, and his family. To be honest, if you were Kobbie Mainoo's dad, right, and you were looking out for his interests, what would you be saying to Kobbie Mainoo? I know what I'd be saying. I'd be saying, you are too good to be sat on the bench for these mugs. You are too good to be sat on the bench. He doesn't even know his best two centre-mids. He's got Casemiro, doesn't want him. Agate, crap. Bruno Fernandes, he's going to drag him back and play him there out of position. What? But he ain't going to play you. If Kobbie Mainoo doesn't start games for Manchester United, I am telling you, you'll have an Isak situation on your hands. You'll have an Isak situation on your hands. He'll want to leave because he'll have the World Cup in mind next year. He'll want to be playing for England. Twisted Fate, I do think Amorim is trying to coach him into being a midfielder instead of a 10. Though, to be honest, he's been trying him out next to people there. He played him at centre-forward last season. He's playing him all over the place. I don't think Amorim knows where his best position is. Unai Emery cutting a very frustrated figure on the touchline. It doesn't look to me like he's particularly excited with his approach from his Villa side's approach. Twisted Fate, the centre-forward, I can allow it, Key. If there is one thing Mainoo is great at, it's being in tight spaces on the ball. Yeah, but not like moving beyond his full-backs and moving in between the centre-back and the full-back and knowing when to run and all that sort of thing. That's a completely different skill set. Mainoo's not a centre-forward, mate. He is good in tight spaces, but in the middle of the pitch, he isn't. You don't want Mainoo as a centre-forward. That was a mad experiment. Gary Garner, who do you fancy going up to the Prem this season? I hope Middlesbrough, and I'd love Coventry, but I think another year for them at least. I have an irrational dislike of Middlesbrough. I have an irrational dislike of Middlesbrough. Yeah, so I don't mind the club for what it's worth. I no problem with like the fans or the players per se. There was a person I didn't like at one point in my life who didn't like Middlesbrough who supported Middlesbrough. Therefore, I don't like Middlesbrough. So for the most petty of reasons, I don't want Middlesbrough to come up. But I think if you're asking me who I think will come up, I think you can't look past Southampton and Ipswich again. I think Bristol City, the way they've started, is incredible. I think there's probably merit in West Brom as well. They kind of tailed off towards the end of last season under Tony Mowbray. But yeah, West Brom looked a very, very decent side when I watched them last week against Blackburn. I don't think Leicester will. I think Southampton, I think Ipswich. I think Millwall could, Millwall could be a late gate crasher to the playoffs. They weren't far off the playoffs again themselves last year. So I'd keep an eye out on the Lions. They could maybe make it. I don't think Birmingham and I don't think Wrexham. There's quite a few have said about those two. Villa, chance! Ooh, good shot on target from Watkins, but straight down the throat of Nick Pope. Twisted Fate, I think Blackburn make it back up this season and would love Blackburn back in the Prem. See, I like Blackburn, but I don't think they'll make it back up. I watched them last week against West Brom, and they were pretty terrible, to be honest. They haven't got enough, Blackburn, to make it, in my opinion. No. The two young wingers they've signed, they're a little bit raw. They're not going to fly in the Championship, I would imagine. But West Brom could be. Yeah, West Brom could be one worth watching. Ostermorg, what do you think about Doak to Bournemouth? Good. Oh, Anthony Gordon's it. Oh, that could be a pen and that could be a red. That could be a red card from Konza. It is. It is a red. It's a red. There you go. That's the easiest thing. How is he complaining to the referee here? How is he complaining to the referee? That is a red card every single day of the week for Ezri Konza. It's a ball over the top. Let's just watch it here. It's a ball over the top. He's onside, Gordon. Let's see. Hang on a minute. Gordon gets through. He gets in front of him. It could be a good dive. I don't know. It's soft. Oh, that's soft. That's really soft. That is really soft. That's soft. I'm sorry, I don't like that. I don't like that. That is soft. That is soft. That is really soft. I wouldn't want my centre-back sent off for that. But he is down to 10. Newcastle, I've got the extra man for the next 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't think for 1 second that Ezri Konsa should have been sent off there. Yeah. And now he's got to interview him. Oh, Christ, I thought he was going to interview him then. there was a fella in the tunnel. Christ. Twisted Fate, nah, keep Millwall out the Prem. Don't want them coming to Old Trafford. They're worse than Leeds. Gary Garner, it's why I love the Championship. You can make a case for 12 teams going up. I agree, Gary. We're going to watch a lot of the Championship this season. I've really enjoyed the Championship in recent years. Ostermorg, FPL players hating on that. Chimey says, here he comes, just wait. Listen, there's no way. I don't like that sending off. I don't like that sending off. How's he got a red for that, says Reese. I don't think that was a red. Wallow casually walks past the Champions League. Champions League club, Villa. They know it. Onye, can Morgan Rogers do something, please? My FPL. I don't know why you'd pick Morgan Rogers. You need to pick on stats. Don't score or assist enough, Morgan Rogers. But now, can Newcastle pinch this one? Extra man. Shocking from Fabian Schär. Miles over the bar. Cons it off. That's great for me, says Onye. That's a shocking decision. It is. They should have sent that to VAR. I don't think that's a red card. I don't think that's a red card. Ryan, have they not made a sub? No, there's no sub for Villa. They've kept it as it is. But that's the first red card of the Premier League season. There's no subs for either team. They've kept it as it is, both of them up to this point. We're nearly 70 minutes gone. Twisted Fate, if I did FPL, I would captain and play Sesko for the jokes. Well, you can play FPL. Get in our FPL league. Get over on YouTube. You can put it in. FPL, Premier League Dad. Go and click in the description or in the comments, and you can see. You can join our league. Join our league and win a retro shirt this season. Prizes to be won. Nick A13, and I was thinking to bet on a win for Villa. Thank God I didn't. Kamara at centre-back now. Yeah, Kamara's always going to tuck in, I guess. Joe Linton. So Onana's now going to be overwhelmed in that midfield. They're going to need to change something here, Villa. Because there's no way at all. Maybe put Gesand on, maybe. Gesand, a bit of an outball. Maybe a bit of pace. Something that gets them up the pitch. Because they're going to get dominated now. Oh, really lovely play that by Watkins. Getting past Shah. Lovely play that. If he can find Rodgers on the other side, well done. Really, really good play by Ollie Watkins. Holding the ball up and get his team up the pitch. That's a foul, surely. No, don't play on. He wants the free kick. This ref's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Ball whipped in. Oh, over to the far side. Go on, McGinn. Oh, unlucky. Nick, I was thinking to bet on a win for Villa, thank God. Nick, today's guys win for Alaves, hopefully, and draw on Valencia v Sociedad. Chimey, how odd is it going to be? Sesko v Gyökeres tomorrow. Big Vic. Bruno, Gordon. Good tackle from Villa. Nick, and you were saying I can see Newcastle getting something out this game. I know, I did say. I'm not... There's no mug, mate. I'm no mug. I don't get much wrong. I don't get much wrong on the old predictions. This game is cooked. Profit in front of me. An absolute profit. Right, it's a corner to Villa. Hung up to the far post from Trippier. Back out to Gordon. He stands it up and easily cleared away by Villa. Ben, I need a Wrexham and a Port Vale. Need a Wrexham and Port Vale, and for this to stay 0-0. No chance. No chance. Well, are you watching Tottenham? I'm not, mate. No, I'm watching West Ham away at Sunderland. That's the 3 o'clock game that I'm doing. Rubes, I hope Bruno G scores, but I don't also. Twisted Fate, the press tried asking Amorim about Gyökeres. He basically said that's a question for Arteta. I love my manager in press conferences. Well, honestly, I still think Arteta didn't want Gyökeres. Arteta wanted Sesko, didn't he? And Berta wanted Gyökeres. That seems to be the rumour doing the rounds. Lee, thank you for the follow, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing and liking. If you're new around here, give us a follow. Get over to YouTube, Premier League Dad. We're live every single day. We're live at 3 o'clock for Sunderland and West Ham. And then we're live at 5:30 straight after that for Wolves against City. And we're live tomorrow for 2 as well. We're going to be doing Man United, Arsenal. We're going to do Forest against Brentford as well. And Monday night Leeds against Everton. So lots of live footy, lots of live watch-alongs. Give us a follow, give us a like. And I'll see you on another one over the weekend if you're not sticking around for this one. Oh! Reese, Arteta wanted Sesko. Nick A13, should I do Alaves under 2.5 to increase the odds, or is it risky? It's the start of the season. I wouldn't get involved in that over under. Definitely not. Twisted Fate, which is why I pray Sesko scores tomorrow and we win from it, Key, just to see Arteta's face. Chimey, Amorim wanted Gyökeres, so basically they're both playing for the wrong team. Might be a swap. Maybe there's a mid-season swap. D28, how's your FPL so far? Has it got off to a good start? Well, I only had 2. I think I had Salah and Wirtz were the only 2 I had playing last night. So I did have... Yeah, I think they're the only 2 that I had, so I'm doing okay. I think I got 10 points for those 2. Newcastle standing up to the far post. Elanga straight out of play. Honestly, this has been one of the most disappointing opening games. I was expecting so much more. After a 4-1 result last season between these two, I was really expecting we'd see a little bit more. I was expecting Villa and Newcastle might just be able to produce the goods. Maybe one or two of them would, maybe 1 or 2 goals, but just so poor. Ostermorg, I had Hugo, Vert, Frimpong, and all got subbed off. 3-star Reds, has the game kicked off yet? Oh, I wish it hadn't. It's kicked off, though, and it's been dreadful. William Smurf, West Brom just scored. That's good. West Brom ahead against Wrexham. Portsmouth 0, Norwich 2, I believe, still. Is it? Yeah, 2-1. 3-2 to Derby still. And 77 minutes in, we've still not had any substitutions. That's baffling, isn't it? No substitutions at all from either side. 77 minutes in. Maybe this is one of them sort of situations where both managers feel that a sub could just disrupt the game and maybe negatively change the... Maybe it's so delicately poised, I'd rather just keep it as it is. Neither manager wants to change things. Elanga, horrific ball in from Elanga, straight out of play. Really poor that from Elanga. Yeah, very, very disappointed. There is going to be a change now. I asked for a change, so I'm getting a change. It's going to be Murphy coming on. I would imagine he is coming on for Elanga, no less, because Elanga's not really done an awful lot in the second half. He's been pretty poor. I mean, to be honest, I actually think Elanga's been pretty poor all game. He's been in good positions to score and hasn't done enough. Now, Elanga's going to be a very good signing for Newcastle, make no doubt about that. But he hasn't done well this game. And it is Elanga going off. Yeah, Elanga off, Murphy on. Not the start that I think he was expecting or hoping for, but yeah, not brilliant, but not terrible either. Elanga off the pitch, Murphy comes on. Let's see if Murphy can influence play in the way that he did last season, maybe. This game is like a relegation scrap, not going to lie, says Twisted Fate. Ostermorg, I've got Marlon in my FPL as well. Why have you put Marlon in there? Still nothing, though. Oh, Derby 3, Coventry 3. What a game. We chose the wrong game. We should have watched Derby Coventry in the Championship. 3-3, 6-goal thriller. And we've been sat watching this crap. Absolutely shocking. I'm surprised we've not seen Gessand come on for Villa. And Hall as well. I would have thought maybe Hall might come on for Newcastle, but hey, maybe not. There you go. One change in nearly 80 minutes of football. Chimey, it's not a bad call, Oster. I think Marlon has a chance to step up this season. It depends. I mean, I would have thought Gessand would have started today, but even Gessand has been left out. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for liking and sharing, by the way. Again, if you're new around here, I watch live footy every single day. We're live at 3 o'clock for Sunderland against West Ham. We're live at 5 for Wolverhampton against City. So we're going to be doing 3 games back-to-back today. Watching along. If you want to join us, stay with us. Give us a like. Get over to YouTube. Premier League Dad. We're live every single day. 3-star Reds. How long left for Coventry to get a winner? I think there's 10 minutes left in that one. But yeah, 3-3. Because that one kicked off at the same time as this one did. 3-3 goals from Elder, Morris and Adams for Derby. Thomas Wright and Thomas Asante for Coventry. Thomas Asante just equalising. It's actually more like 20 minutes. 73rd minute that one kicked off in. So, 73rd minute that one is in now. So there's another 20 minutes or so to go. Ostermorg, my bench is De Kuiper, Lewis Potter and Marlon. So it's not the worst bench. I'm surprised teams aren't trying to sign Chris Wood. I just feel like the way that I mean, if you've watched the video where I've shown my FPL team and I've talked through how I picked it, I'm a little bit surprised that people go for such a strong bench. I always try and get a really strong 11. Your bench is important, but it's less important than having a really strong 11. Like my midfield is Salah, Palmer, Vert and Mbermo. They're all going to start week in, week out for really, really decent sides, you would imagine. And I've tanked the last midfielder option. I've put in Devaney of Crystal Palace so that I can get a good centre forward, a good three up front: João Pedro, Strand Larsen, and Bowen. It's 4-3. Coventry have nicked it. Mason Clark. Oh, why have we watched this? Why have we watched this? It's 4-3 Coventry. Mason Clark with the goal. 75th minute, and there's still time. There's still time at Pride Park. Pride Park, Derby 3, Coventry 4. What a fabulous, fabulous game that one is. And we've been stuck watching this nonsense. Oh, Villa. Dan Burn playing dangerously at the back. Dan Burn playing with fire, you might say. Twisted Fate, I think I'm going to captaincy Sesko, but try and get Caicedo into my FPL just because he's going to be a solid player this season. Yeah, with the new defensive involvement points in the FPL, yes, there absolutely is going to be better, I think, from Caicedo's and Tarkovsky's and things like that. Watch the Sunderland game. I am watching the Sunderland game, mate. As soon as this one finishes, we're watching Sunderland. Coventry have scored 2 goals in 3 minutes to go from 3-2 down to 4-3 up. It's an absolutely sensational comeback from Frank Lampard's men. And if you're John Eustace, you're absolutely raging, aren't you? You're absolutely raging. West Brom have scored again. It's Wrexham 1, West Brom 3. And I've told you, West Brom outsiders for promotion. They fell away under Tony Mowbray last year. They're looking a lot better under Ryan Mason. Tony Mowbray just couldn't quite get him there, but I think Mason might just do. Here is Daniel Marlon. He's coming on. You've just been talking about him. Daniel Marlon's coming on for John McGinn. So an attacking change for Villa. They might think they can go for it, even though they've got a man light. Is it John McGinn? Who's coming off? Lewis Miley's coming on for Newcastle, and Joe Linton's coming off. And Marlon is coming on for Daniel Marlon on, and who is it? Who's coming off? Oh, it is McGinn. It is McGinn. He didn't look happy. Three-star Reds, happy days, happy days. Derby 3, Coventry 4. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Derby throwing it away. Nottingham Forest fans love that. Louis, did you see the Chiesa goal? I did, mate. Yes, I was watching it live last night on the watch-along. You can see it on YouTube if you go and check it out. Premier League Dad, I was live for that one and I lost my head. It was absolutely brilliant. It was fantastic. William, how many of the new signings will start for Sunderland? Probably most of them. Most of them. In fact, we can see, actually, I can tell you the lineups for Sunderland because they are out now. The lineups for Sunderland are as follows. It's Riffs in goal. There's one new signing. Hume is starting at right back. Ballard. Seat. Jensen Sealt. He was at Sunderland last season, so he's not. And Mandava. So there's 2 new signings as of the back 4. Back 5. Riffs and Mandava start. It's a midfield 3 of Diarra, Xhaka and Siddiqui. All new signings. And then a front 3 of Talby, new signing. Adingra, new signing. And Mayenda, one of my favourite players in the Championship last season. Eliezer Mayenda, Spanish centre-forward, who I think is a player who could get tapped up and he'll be leaving He'll be leaving Sunderland next season for big, big money. A very, very talented player. Derby 3, Coventry 5. Derby 3, Coventry 5. Oh, it's all fallen apart at Pride Park. They were 3-2 up. They're now 5-3 down in. It's all happened. 3 goals in 8 minutes. 3 goals in 8 minutes. And Coventry have turned it round. They're smashing Derby. Jay, who do you think's winning at Sunderland? I think Sunderland might just pinch it. I've got West Ham to go down. Jay, he's just signed a new contract, bro. That doesn't mean anything. Contracts don't mean anything. Don't mean the paper they're written on, mate. If he plays well for Sunderland this season, he'll be gone next season. Leon, he played for Hibs 2 seasons ago. Good. Ostermore, De Kuiper starting for Brighton as well. That's a surprise. So I thought they might. I didn't know whether they'd go with De Kuiper or Kadioglu. I'm surprised Ryan Lodi isn't starting for Sunderland. Who's that? Who are you on about, William? I think the player you're on about, the guy who they signed, he is starting, mate. He is starting. Chimey, West Ham starting lineup. West Ham starting lineup is Hermanson in goal. It's Agurd, Kilman and Todibo at the back. It's Diouf, left wing back. Wan-Bissaka, right wing back. Guido Rodriguez, Ward-Prowse and Lucas Paquetá in midfield. And then it's a front two of Nicholas Füllkrug and Bowen. So there you go. That's the West Ham starting lineup for that one. We'll go through the others, why not? Let's do it. Brighton and Fulham. So, Brighton's lineup is Verbruggen in goal, Mats Wiefer, Van Hecke, Dunk and De Kuiper at the back. Baleba, Ayari in midfield with Matt O'Reilly. And then it's Minter right, Mitoma left, and Genio Rutter up front at centre forward. For Fulham, it's Leno in goal, Cuenca, Bassi, Anderson and Tete at the back. Lukic, Berg and Josh King in midfield, with Iwobi left, Wilson right, and Raul Jimenez up front. So that's your Brighton and Fulham team. Tottenham and Burnley. Burnley have got Dubravka in goal, Hartman, Gwilindishy Hartman at the back with Estev, Ekdal, Walker and Son. Jadon Anthony, Laurent, Cullen and Mabry in midfield. And then Lyle Foster starting up front on his own. Away at Spurs. For Spurs, it's Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven and Spence. Archie Gray and Bergvall in that double pivot sitting deep. I really like that. Kudus right, Sarr just in front, Johnson left, and Richarlison up front, giving it the old pigeon maybe today. But there you go. We're in the 89th minute here at Villa Park, and it's been a thoroughly, thoroughly disappointing day. Twisted Fate, secretly Key. I think Burnley beat Spurs today because their cup game went to extra time. They will be shattered. Chimey, I'm backing a Bowen goal. I've got Bowen in my FPL side, so I think Bowen against Sunderland, there is a possibility of that one. Get on it. Reese, I love Ali McCoist on comms. Oh, here we go. Here is young Will Asula coming on for Eddie Howe. William, how is Kyle Walker not at right back for Burnley unless Son is a right back too? I think he'll be playing more like a right-sided centre back in a back five. It's the position that he played for England quite a lot, Kyle Walker. He hasn't really got the pace to be a right back anymore, so he needs a right wing back alongside him, and he can play as more like a right-sided centre back. Okay, how many added minutes have we got to endure here at Villa Park? It's been a bloody awful game. Long ball at the pitch, and it's gone out for a throw into Villa. Yeah, theatre. Absolute theatre, Chimey, isn't it? Theatre. What was it? 1-0 half time, 2-0 full time. Can't believe I didn't back that. Theatre. Turkish chess champion, I was told. Frog, how's it going, mate? William, is Josh King for Fulham the ex-striker Bournemouth used to have? No, it's not. He's a completely different player. He's a young lad who's come out of the academy. So no, he's not the same player. Shot from distance. Good save from Bezo. Anthony Gordon's just been brilliant there today. He's put a real shift in Anthony Gordon. Great play that by Morgan Rogers, I think, on the right-hand side. Done very, very well there. Chesterfield 3, Bristol Rovers 1. For anyone keeping an eye on that one. 6 minutes of added on time. I can't believe that. We've got 4 minutes left to endure this nonsense. If you're sticking around with me, by the way, I'll be back in about 20 minutes for Sunderland against West Ham. So make sure you've liked, make sure you've followed. I'll be live again in 20 minutes' time for Sunderland West Ham. Villa bursting forward here. Oh, Bruno. Really poor that from Bruno. Lewis says, my dad's getting me a Jota kit this week. Very nice. Very, very nice. Leon, how are you watching Sunderland v West Ham? On the telly. On the telly. William Enzo Lefebvre, nice to see him back permanently signed on the bench. He was not too bad for Sunderland. It's whether or not he's going to be able to make the step up to the Premier League. That's going to be the thing, isn't it? Taz, 8 goals in the Cov game. Play up Sky Blues. Lewis, what team do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan, Lewis. Much like you. Newcastle shot from distance. Cleared away. It's going to go behind, is it? For a corner to Newcastle. It is. 2 minutes to go. Twisted Fate says, Key, screw it. I'm going to even put Bruno Fernandes in my FPL. With his hoofballs, we had low IQ players in the times he was doing it, but with Cunha and Mbermo, I think he's going to get mad assists. Could well be. Thank you for the follow, JNR. Appreciate it. If you've not yet, please do give us a like and a follow. We are 90 seconds from full time here at Villa Park. Villa 0, Newcastle 0. Bezo definitely been man of the match for me, the goalkeeper for Villa. Newcastle haven't created too many, but he's had to make a couple of decent saves. Point for these two, who couldn't really be separated last season in the league. Probably can't separate them again this year. They'll finish about a position or so between each other, whether it's Villa on top or Newcastle on top. They're two very, very similar teams in terms of quality, and yeah, I fully expect they'll be competing for the same European places next season. Maybe not this season, maybe not the Champions League, but they'll be in and around each other in those Europa spots. William Ekatiki's goal last night was quite similar to the one he scored against Palace. No, not well. It was that it came from that side of the pitch, I guess. The one against Palace was so much better. He had to do a lot more work against Palace. Got a little bit lucky with the break last night, didn't he? 30 seconds left here. Villa are just going to pump this one long into the box to see if we can maybe get a goal, a chance, anything. Nah, that's going to be it. That's going to be it. And we're going to be focusing next on Sunderland against West Ham. Wrexham just scored, 2-3 now, isn't it, to West Brom. So I think that's going to be it here at Villa Park, 0-0. I will be live again in about 20 minutes' time for Sunderland against West Ham. Big 3 o'clock game. If you're joining me for that one, give us a like, give us a follow. Make sure you get over to YouTube and subscribe as well. And I will see you all in 20 minutes or so. Take it easy. Have a nice day if you're not coming back.